Something must be wrong with me. Keep wanting just to see you show up at my door. Et même quand je suis froide, un peu indifférent, tu continues tout de même de montrer tes efforts. I'm trying to keep my heart in peace. I just can't think but the way that I feel. It's too hard to trust. I mess it up. I just can't risk to be falling like this. Oh, ooh. Why do you keep chasing clouds? Ooh. If I could change my mind. you be happy here in the end? So was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? Those memories. Was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? So was it all for nothing? If I stay, would you run from me? If I go, would you be happy here in the end? So was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? Those memories. Was it all for nothing? Was it all for nothing? So was it all for nothing? So was it all for nothing?
welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're here for another Esports Tower Rumble, where some of the talented all-star teams of the Esports Tower take on some of the best high school teams in the nation in Rocket League. Each week, they battle in a standalone bracket. I am Michael Fisher, and joining me to call all of the action is Artie Nerdy Bird Rain. And Artie, we're going to see some familiar teams, and I think our storyline will be a lot of what we've seen over the last month. Who, if anyone, can stop St. John's Bosco? They are 4 for 4 Rumble appearances, 4 championships. They're back at it again, but their big rival, Forsyth Central, is finally looking to knock them down a peg and finally prevent them from winning a championship.
Well, we did see last week that Forsyth has kind of, a little bit of an extended roster. They have that fourth player. Yep. So we've got DJ TJ as well as Buddy. And then there is Ariana, who swaps out with, I want to say it's KG.
Yep.
Yes. And between Ariana and KG, they are demolition experts, but their style of demolition is slightly different between the two of them. So with that in mind, they might be able to throw St. John's Bosco for a little bit of a loop.
Yeah, and I will say, despite the dominant performance, teams have been catching up to St. John's Bosco. We saw the Swerve give them a run for their money last week. We had a new high school team in Hendricken that took them to overtime in the group stage last week. So I think the rest of the Rumble is catching up to St. John's Bosco, but then they get to the championship, and this team can absolutely turn on in a heartbeat. Fear Classic and Turbo are absolutely insane, and they absolutely ran through the competition. So here we see our high schools, Forsyth Central, Bishop Hendricken coming back for a second week, St. John's Bosco, LaSalle College also coming back for a second week, and Grayson, who has been here for a while on the Esports Tower side. Some familiar teams, the Barracudas and Swerve, and then we will also get a chance to see the Wolves for the first time in a few weeks. So a very star-studded lineup. We see how these two groups break out in that Group A. Those 4 teams in Group A alone could be in the bracket stage if this broke differently. So that is going to be a highly competitive Group A and could really go any way, because I think all 4 of those teams could knock off one of the other ones.
I am excited to see what the Wolves bring to the table in Group B, since they did have time off, and Esports Tower is notorious for, when their team takes time off, yep, they come back swinging, and that's the only way I can put it, because they've improved their rotation. Sometimes they've made roster changes, and they've just upped their gameplay across the board.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see we got those two high schools coming back, LaSalle College High and Hendricken. Both of them had decent performances, didn't make the bracket stage, but I think could definitely challenge in that Group B. So it's going to be, of course, all eyes on St. John's Bosco. Can anyone knock them off? But there's also some other storylines we want to keep our eyes on. Before we get to our group stage recap, we just want to remind everyone to support your teams, celebrate the successes, be respectful to the other fans, and mods will remove anyone who violates any of those rules in chat. But now we hop on to our group stage breakdown. We'll start things off. St. John's Bosco and the Swerve, the returning champion St. John's Bosco, looking for their 5th title in 5 tries. The Swerve trying to knock them off. The Swerve have been working really, really hard over the last few weeks, but unfortunately, you see here St. John's Bosco already has that 4-2 lead.
Honestly, shutting down St. John's Bosco early in the game is kind of one of the ways you can set the pace of this match. And if you can't set the bar high in the beginning and take control of the pace of the match, you're going to have a hard time evening out that score, even in the late game.
The Swerve team is very talented, but it just goes to show, we've heard from the Esports Tower coach Jake, who we'll actually hear from later today. He thinks that St. John's Bosco is just one of the best teams out there, and they are, he thinks, almost unbeatable. And as we do see, unfortunately, Fear Classic's going to put one in. St. John's Bosco is going to end up with 16 shots on goal in this game, which is an absolutely insane number.
Fear Classic is one of those players for St. John's Bosco that has some insane capabilities to land these shots from impossible angles, so the number of shots taken does not surprise me. Thankfully, obviously, by the fact that there was 16 shots on goal, and we probably won't see this go very high double digits here, there was some great blocking and saves coming out from the Swerve, and that is honestly something that you need to praise your own team for and just keep improving, especially as Coach Jake said. The side of St. John's Bosco is just kind of like a Titan force coming into these games, so they're hard to shut down completely.
Yeah, the 6-2 scoreline, as you mentioned, with 16 shots. Oh, they might get another one there. 6-3 is very respectable. We see St. John's Bosco took the series 2-0. Meanwhile, we switch right to St. John's Bosco and the other Esports Tower team in Group A, the Barracudas, who are looking to come back. They got a 3rd place finish last week, their highest in over a month. St. John's Bosco is going to put 19 shots on goal in this game, and we're going to overtime, which is incredible defense for the Barracudas.
The Barracudas are one of our contenders constantly for that championship title every week. St. John's Bosco and Forsyth are definitely formidable opponents for them. So being able to take St. John's into overtime probably is a great feeling for the side of the Barracudas, and definitely they deserve a pat on the back even just for taking it this far.
Yeah, the Barracudas, I mean, the fact that they took St. John's Bosco, and this is something that has been interesting. St. John's Bosco has been a little bit closer in recent weeks. I mean, we saw them put up 16 goals, 9 goals in some bracket stage, and right now we see the teams are definitely getting a lot closer to them in overall play. So I think that is definitely something we want to keep watch out for. Is the Barracudas, they're really giving them a run for their money right now.
They are, but as we can see, we're almost hitting that entire 1 minute mark and no goals have been scored. This is, of course, a very high intensity, high adrenaline type of gameplay, especially when you're in the overtime period of any Rocket League match. And for the fact that no goal has been scored when St. John's Bosco has the capability to score off kickoffs almost every single time, that is a great feat of strength coming out from the Barracudas.
Yeah, and if you want someone to watch out for, I would be watching out for Turbo to maybe end this game for St. John's Bosco, as he has been their kind of clutch all-around goal scorer. I mean, the ball's on the orange side. St. John's Bosco is going to win it right there, but still an excellent job defensively for the Barracudas. We'll go to our next match, which is a pair of Esports Tower teams, the Barracuda and the Swerve. Unfortunately, both already eliminated from bracket play with losses to St. John's Bosco and Forsyth Central in this group. Very, very hard Group A. Like I said, I mean, I think these teams could be in the bracket stage anytime, but Forsyth and St. John's Bosco have just kind of separated themselves, and we see a very close game, though, between probably the two best Esports Tower teams we've seen in recent weeks.
We've managed to see the Swerve drastically improve over the course of the past few weeks. Honestly, I can't argue with you in the regards of them being probably the best two out of Esports Tower. They probably do also scrim a lot against each other, and we'll probably be able to see a lot of the techniques that they use to shut down St. John's Bosco and close that gap that St. John's has managed to put out against these teams, used against each other here. And so it's honestly a kind of like gives an opportunity for both these teams to analyze each other and improve their gameplay across the board. Of course, you know, at the end of the day, only one of them can make it out of this match on top, and so that's just how, you know, the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and I mean, I think also the thing is we've seen with Esports Towers, they've definitely tried to mix and match the teams. It looks like for the Barracudas, they at least have what looks to be a different roster. We see Yeezy's actually on the orange team for the Swerve along with Jock. So I think that's the one thing the Esports Tower has been trying to figure out, and they've done a really good job of mixing and matching these teams. Barracudas do end up winning this series, but it's been very interesting that they've taken the Barracudas, who were at one point the top team, and they've kind of tried to mix and match to get them closer and closer to St. John's Bosco and to Forsyth Central, who, speaking of those two teams, that will be our Group A highlight match. Can Forsyth Central, they beat them once in the group stage, can they do it again? We're about to find out as we take a live look at this match. And I think I'm curious, you mentioned it, who's going to be in for the side of Forsyth? Looks like it will be Ariana who's going to be in this time instead of KG, and I think that's probably the better roster, because last week when we saw them win one game, it was with Ariana in the lineup.
Ariana is kind of, though, a double-edged sword. We have notoriously seen Ariana make some fantastic demolitions at the last possible second to allow goals, but we've also seen Ariana make demolitions that don't open up goal-scoring opportunities for their team and instead result in goals coming from the other side. So hopefully Ariana kind of is able to kind of pump the brakes a little bit with their demolitions and help their team with the rotations and prevent goals more often during this round.
Speaking of goals, we got a first one there, I think, from DJ TJ. Yeah, that was from DJ TJ. So we'll see if Turbo and friends are able to answer it right off the kickoff. It looks like Buddy's just going to have to clear that one. Gets a pass over to DJ TJ. One more back to Buddy. Wow. That was pretty impressive.
Buddy and DJ TJ obviously work very well together. However, we've notoriously said that Buddy's kind of like, you know, the driving force of Forsyth Central here in these games. So making sure that Buddy is capable of getting those goal-scoring opportunities and being set up for them is very important. However, if St. John's Bosco picks up on that, we might see a lot more demos come out onto Buddy.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I think St. John's Bosco's picked up. We talked about Ariana with the demo. St. John's Bosco's kind of stolen that as off the kickoff. Ariana's able to clear it down towards that orange side. Ton of pressure. Pass over to Buddy. And Forsyth Central came to play, already up 2 goals here just a minute in.
I I'm really curious. I still haven't heard any, information about whether or not they won their state championship match. They were a couple weeks ago discussing that in the chat room, and maybe that did happen this last weekend, because I feel like they're playing like a whole different team during this game. Their organization, their rotations, and just the shots that they are taking are much better than what we've previously seen. Not saying that what we saw previously was in any regard a bad style of Rocket League play.
Yeah, and they've also got a ton of great scouting on St. John's Bosco. These teams have been perennial championship contenders. We see another goal go in. This time, TJ is going to clear it all the way down to the corner, get to it himself as well, set it up for Buddy, who was just a tad in front of that ball. Excuse me, that was Ariana. Now Buddy comes in, and wow!
That's what I'm talking about. You make those demolitions create goal-scoring opportunities. Ariana's done it more than once, and they're doing it again. We're only little more than 2 minutes into this match, and for Forsyth Central, they are unstoppable right now.
Yeah, 5-1 lead right here. We do see Turbo's going to set it up in front of the net. They are going to get one back, and so we still have 3 minutes left. Looks like that one was Fear Classic putting it in, and Turbo at Fear Classic definitely the goal scorers for St. John's Bosco. Fear Classic wins that kickoff. Here's the strategy we've seen St. John's Bosco use time and time again, but this time a fantastic save by TJ to at least prevent a goal, but Slayer wants to keep the pressure on, tries to pass it in front of the net. Demolition does come out onto Slayer in the corner. And Ariana's going to be able to clear it down, takes a shot on an open net, does get stopped. Buddy reads that perfectly, though. Sets it up for himself in the corner right in front of the net, but nobody's there. Slayer tries to stop TJ from scoring. One more chance here for Forsyth Central, and it's just going to hit off the crossbar.
Sometimes you have to go back to couples canceling with that crossbar, but you can work it out. Sometimes you just have to have the follow-up, and right there it was once again with the crossbar for St. John's Bosco on that one. So depending on who you're rooting for, you may not need to go to that canceling.
You do see Ariana and DJ combine for a nice little clear. Get the ball over to that orange side. Bad touch there. Unfortunately, not going to be able to clear it out as that does get stolen away from Ariana. TJ misses on the ball, though. Makes a great recovery. And that's one way when you make a mistake to save it yourself, and Slayer missing on that ball is an easy clear for Forsyth Central.
We do see that clear go down all the way to Fear Classic in the corner, manages to pop it to the mid. It does end up with Turbo getting a nice hit on it, and then a follow-up there brings it down into the corner. Now the members of Forsyth are trying to get it out of their side of the field. They managed to do just that, sending it all the way to the other side for an entire cross-map goal. That was beautiful.
Yeah, and you absolutely nailed it, Nerdy, when you said this team usually runs through Buddy. He has 4 goals on 5 shots, and when he's playing this aggressive, it's a great sign for Forsyth as he almost has another one. Ariana barely pops it over Slayer. Buddy's looking for one more attempt. Oh, plays it perfectly!
Oh my gosh!
What?
I don't know if that was like an intentional slowdown touch, but it was just enough to fake out that person who was coming up to try and shut Buddy down, and then they just managed to smack the ball into the goal. That was beautiful.
That was fantastic, and Ariana just barely misses, but it's set up to Buddy! And Buddy is having himself an insane game. That is now 6 goals against the best team in the country. It's only the group stage, so they'll probably have to beat him again, but this is a huge message to St. John's Bosco that Forsyth Central thinks they haven't figured out.
They're doing more than what we ever have estimated to be the means of shutting down St. John's Bosco. They aren't even afraid to put the ball in the air, which is one of the things that I've said time and time again, do not do, because St. John's will take advantage of that. Because Forsyth, just like St. John's, has fantastic aerial ball control, and they are showing that prowess in this game. They are not afraid of Forsyth Central, and they are trying to take them down by any means necessary.
Minute left. A 6-goal comeback would be absolutely insane as TJ clears it away. Buddy in the corner kind of pinches that off a member of St. John's Bosco. Turbo hits it in the wrong direction. Buddy wants to challenge him, but the ball gets sent back to the blue side, and this would be an absolutely message-sending score as TJ's got an open net. Can we see 10 goals on St. John's Bosco? That would be unheard of. Usually they're the ones scoring 10.
It would be history in the making for Esports Tower. I'm sorry, St. John's Bosco, but you are an undefeated force that everyone is seeking to shut down. And just to see a team come this far against you in a single map is incredible. That just goes to demonstrate how hard that the side of Forsyth has been working to break down every strategy that you can possibly throw at them right now.
I do see that ball in front of the net. Looks like, oh! Unfortunately, Ariana can't save it, so Forsyth will give up another goal. They will end up winning the series, though, with just this absolutely dominating performance. So they will lock up the first spot.
Those kickoff goals, man, sometimes they just, they work out.
When you have a 5-goal lead, 14 seconds, you're probably not too worried. Like I said, we'll probably see these teams again, I would think, in our championship. They're probably our favorites, but Forsyth with a great statement win here in our group stage.
I have nothing but praise for the side of Forsyth, and of course praise for St. John's Bosco, because both teams are incredible. But Forsyth, over the course of the past week, I don't know what y'all did that was different, but you guys are like a whole different animal this week. Your gameplay is far and above anything we've seen coming out of you, and I really hope you can keep up this high-octane play throughout the remainder of the Esports Tower series.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, that, not to jinx them, but we have seen Forsyth Central beat St. John's Bosco in the group stage before. St. John's Bosco then went on to roll and win the championship. So it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. It matters what you do in the bracket stage. They will both make it. Forsyth is the 1 seed from Group A, St. John's Bosco as the 2 seed, and we'll see if they end up meeting in our championship. But we still have Group B to get to, which has plenty of new faces and some returning ones as well. We'll start off with a pair of new faces, as LaSalle College High and Hendricken both had pretty excellent performances in their first appearance in this Rumble, especially Hendricken making the name for themselves, taking St. John's Bosco to overtime. We see right now they have a 4-1 lead on LaSalle, and I think Hendricken's a team we got to watch out for in future Rumbles.
They have some, I'm going to, of course, return to the soccer lingo here of foot skills. Just the aerial control that we see, that's not even like high in the air drop shots that we normally see with that, waterfall technique. That last goal we saw was completely from midfield in the air, just dribbled perfectly with their cars from Hendricken. That was beautiful.
Yeah, Hendricken, like I said, they made a name for themselves. They took St. John's Bosco to overtime. They played Forsyth in a 3-game series as well. So this is a talented team. LaSalle, we haven't seen too much of them, but I am told that they went 7-0 in the regular season of their state championship before losing in the quarterfinals. So this is a team that we haven't seen much of in the Rumble, but in their own state tournament, they definitely made some noise, and I would expect this performance is probably not indicative of how talented this LaSalle team really is.
I mean, when you don't have an opportunity to scout some teams as much as you do during a state tournament, it ends up being like that sometimes.
Jump into our second game. We just saw Hendricken won that first series, and they did not slow down in their second one against the Wolves. Hendricken can lock in a bracket stage slot. You can see that is exactly what's on their mind. 10 goals in this game. Absolutely incredible. And this is a team that I think they might play St. John's Bosco if they win this group. That is going to be a really good game, because Hendricken looks like they are a very, very talented team.
As we mentioned before, they managed to take on the top 2 teams in these brackets. Granted, they did not come out on top, but they definitely showed that they are capable of going toe-to-toe with them. It just comes down to a couple unlucky shots and a couple unlucky, missed saves on goal that result in a win. And so just cleaning up your rotations and making sure that those opportunities don't happen can be the key to coming out on top of either of those teams. So Hendricken had a week. Let's see if they're able to actually use that time to improve their gameplay against those 2 top teams.
Yeah, Hendricken was able to take down the Wolves, thanks in part to Pickle, who we saw there had 4 goals. So they lock up a spot in the bracket. They could get the #1 seed as they're taking on Grayson. Grayson has had strong performances in recent Rumbles. They're known as a first-half team, however, and they do struggle in the late game, and it looks like we see Hendricken with a 2-goal lead already with a minute left, and looks like they were doing a great job. This Hendricken team is insane. We have not seen much of them, but these score lines we're seeing in the group stage, they are ready to play, and they want to make it to that bracket stage for the first time.
That last goal that was scored, I don't even fully understand how it was possible. It looked like it was just going to go flat against the goal, but they managed to get the perfect little tip with the hood of their car to just kind of tip it right into the goal. It was beautiful, and if they continue to make sneaky shots like that seem impossible to us, I feel like even against a team like St. John's Bosco, who's notorious for making those types of shots as well that just impress us, they can go toe-to-toe with them with no problem.
Yeah, this is still a talented Grayson team as well. We've seen them quite a few times in a Rumble. They are consistent bracket stage threats as well. Sunky and Lamagai have been a force for quite a few weeks. The series did end up going 3 games, so it was not the stomp that we've seen so far from Hendricken, that they did pull out the win. So they will lock in that top seed, and this is a very, very talented team that I cannot wait to see in our bracket stage. And now they got to find out who's joining them. As we see, we'll go to LaSalle College High and the Wolves. If LaSalle wins this, they will get the second seed in the bracket. And I'll be curious to see our full 5-minute length of LaSalle. We haven't seen much of them. like I said, they kind of probably got an unfair shot because Hendricken looks like they're maybe that third-tier team right now. And I'm really curious to see how LaSalle does against the Wolves in our last match of Group B.
You did mention that they managed to make it to their state championship, so that obviously shows that they have a level of prowess that we need to respect. And hopefully the Wolves anticipate that going into this game. As we mentioned, the Wolves took some time off, and so they've obviously had time to improve. So this is going to be a very interesting full length to watch. Yeah,
and LaSalle's also the alma mater of the Esports Tower coach Jake, who I said we will talk to between semifinal games. So a little bit of a rooting conflict of interest here between his Esports Tower team and his alma mater. So would love to see. I'm sure he's probably hoping that LaSalle is able to win, or maybe the Wolves. I mean, LaSalle is the one who could make the bracket, but this is a very talented team. As we mentioned, they made the quarterfinals of their state championship as the Wolves look for a clear. Not able to get it is Jake. I don't know if that's a tribute or not, able to make a great stop there. Now Knowles has to retreat in front of his net, and he makes a great save.
Oh, but they unfortunately lose their dribble right there, and one of their teammates has to come back and help them out. They're now going to take it up the side and try and make it past this midpoint. We do see one of the members of the Wolves trying to take away the ball as well. They elevate and just barely miss it with the dunk in front of the goal. It's going to hit the corner and bounce off, allowing the Wolves to get it over into the other corner.
Like that play from LaSalle College High. They look to stop that clear away from the Wolves. They'll do just that, trying to set it up in front of the net, but the ball gets pinched all the way over to the corner where Jake is waiting for it. He'll center it up, looks like for himself, tries to set it up for Knowles, but it is cleared away at the last moment. Ball is still kept alive, though. The Wildcats able to make quite the easy save here, looking for a clear, just not quite able to find it.
They played it up off the wall and ended up hitting it off the ceiling, allowing Jake to get a nice dunk down into the corner onto the side of Orange right here. Jake is now rotating back as one of their teammates is going to try and snag this ball away and get a shot on goal, but it's going to go a little bit wide right, and they're still managing to maintain possession, so this push onto the goal is not stopped just yet.
Wabungus jukes a couple of them out, but the ball does get cleared away. Knowles, one more shot, does go far wide of the net. His teammate was trying to make a play on it as Knowles clears it back to Wabungus, but it gets stolen away. Shot on the goal, but a huge save by Jake to keep us in a 0-0 game.
We do see one of the members of the Wolves clears it all the way back against their own goal wall, against the blue wall. Jake's going to elevate and go off that back wall to try and get the ball away from here. However, there is still multiple members of both teams here, so the ball is not going to go across that midline anytime soon. And we do finally see a member of LaSalle manage to cross it over, and they've got no one to beat at the goal, and there is our first goal after just a little bit over 2 minutes.
Fantastic solo play there by Jake to give LaSalle the lead, but still plenty of time for the Wolves to come back, and this one as Jake wins a great hit off the kickoff. Sir Wolf waiting for it as the ball bounces over one member. Knowles tries to play it off the rebound, but Jake was back getting boost, so he'll just have to stop it in front of his own net with a nice little save there. But it looks like that ball's going to be kept alive here. Sir Wolf with one chance. Fortunately, he's just going to retreat, and that's going to give LaSalle another chance on the orange side.
The ball does stall out here down in the corner, allowing members of the Wolves to gain possession of it just a little bit, but it's going to roll past them and go into the goal anyway, and that's a second goal for the side of LaSalle.
And LaSalle starting to assert their dominance. Side control has been in their favor most of the night. Wabungus with a great read, didn't go for the ball, but immediately predicted where the kickoff would go. Fantastic play from him to give his team side control. As the Wolves look to get a clear here, trying to dribble it towards their own net. Risky play there. Jake hits the crossbar, though. Wildcat looking for a clear, and a great correction there from the Wolves to be able to clear that from their own net. As Wabungus ends up, I think, running into Jake there, and that's a great opportunity as Wabungus ends up saving a shot from Knowles as well.
Sometimes that happens. Aerial gameplay is always very difficult, and you know, sometimes you just got to make sure you call that the ball is yours so no one else is up there with you. And now the ball's all the way in the corner on the side of LaSalle. It does get cleared by one of the members of the Wolves, however, and we do have an opportunity for it to go into the goal, and I think it did get saved right there by one of the members of the Wolves.
Yeah, I think Sir Wolf got just maybe a quarter panel on it to clear it away. Jake's going to end up trying to dribble it back towards his own side. Challenge comes out from Sir Wolf. He's going to try and sneak it in. We've got ourselves a one-goal game.
You know, I totally understand trying to play it off the back wall on your own net. That's always a very risky play. Same with playing it over your own net, off that rebound. It's just sometimes I understand it gives you a little bit extra time to get your rotations cleaned up and you get a little bit more momentum, but it's not always worth it.
Yeah, those pass backs we've seen have cost teams in the past. Is the Wolves going to get another cross-map goal? I was another one from Sir Wolf, and just like that, we've got ourselves a tie game.
Minute and 16 seconds. This could go either way. It's, as you mentioned, 2-2. It's basically 0-0 all over again. Hopefully no one gets into that solo queue mentality of trying to be, you know, their assist, the save, and the goal scorer all at the same time.
Oh, C-Math with a great clear. Wabungus, oh, the pull just barely misses. I thought that was on target. Jake looking for a clear. Wabungus and C-Math going to get tied up there in the quarter. Jake with a side shot on net. Tries to play his own rebound, but C-Math with a great clear. And there's only 50 seconds.
We do see Wabungus manage to tip the ball down in front of the goal, and a demolition comes out just in time to allow them to score that third goal. 45 seconds remaining. I do still have faith in the Wolves to even out the score and possibly even get that extra 1 point to not even take us into overtime here.
Well, nearly had it off the kickoff. Unfortunately, C-Math ran into a teammate as Jake's going to try and give LaSalle the insurance goal they need. Ball just right in front of the net with 30 seconds left. Jake trying to keep it alive. Going to pass it down to Knowles, takes a shot, but a great save there. Maybe one more chance here for LaSalle College. Jake plays it around one, centers it up perfectly for Wabungus, who puts it in.
I'm curious as to how Wabungus got that name, but that's a question for, I guess, a time in which we actually get an opportunity to interview these students. As we go into this next kickoff, and it does look like Wildcat manages to read that one just enough to stall it out at the midfield. So now it's up to the Wolves to actually take advantage of that stall out, as we do see them manage to play it over one member of LaSalle, but it does unfortunately get disrupted a bit.
Time ticking down on the Wolves, unfortunately not going to be able to score 2 goals in the 0-second window. The ball will touch the ground, so LaSalle will end up advancing out of Group B. We see how the semifinals shape up. It will be Bishop Hendricken taking on St. John's Bosco, which I think is a game that I definitely want to see if Hendricken has come far enough to take down probably the best team we've seen at the tournament. And then we see Forsyth Central and LaSalle. Forsyth, they just obliterated St. John's Bosco, get the top seed, and I cannot wait to see. But this is a great semifinal with, I think, several teams that have a chance maybe to knock off one of the old guards, either Forsyth or St. John's Bosco.
Are we going to see the upset of, I want to say the century, but it's more like the last 2 months? So, yeah. 1/6 of the year?
Something like that. I mean, hey, it'd be the biggest upset we've seen in the Esports Tower. That would be for sure if Hendricken can take down St. John's Bosco. We will take a quick break. We will be back with our first semifinal game. St. John's Bosco and Hendricken. Can we get the upset of the last 2 months, as Nerdy said? Find out next.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time.
While I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back into this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble, broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We have our first semifinal on the table, and this could be ripe for an upset. St. John's Bosco has never lost in the bracket stage. They've honestly never not won a championship. 4 appearances, 4 titles. They're going 5 for 5, but they lost in the group stage. So now they have to take on the #1 seed from the Group B, which is Hendricken, who ran through the competition, took this St. John's Bosco team to overtime last week, Nerdy, and this is prime for an upset as the rest of the Rumble has slowly but slowly caught up to that St. John's Bosco level.
We got to see that full-length one-round match against St. John's Bosco and Forsyth Central, and Forsyth obviously came out looking for blood. Granted, we didn't see nearly as demolitions as we were used to seeing coming out from Forsyth Central, but they definitely showed that they've been improving over the course of the past couple weeks, and St. John's Bosco definitely has to step up their game just a little bit more than what they've shown us if they want to maintain that easy lead that they've been managing to get these last few weeks. But Hendricken, they are a surprising new face to see in this in this entire tournament. We saw them last week for the first time. We got a little taste of what they can bring to the table, but this week, after watching that full-length match, I really do think that they are going to give St. John's a run for their money.
Let's take a look at the standings, see how we got here after we tell you it is St. John's Bosco taking on Bishop Hendricken, as we mentioned. Hendricken was in last week's Rumble. They ended up in the same group as St. John's Bosco at Forsyth in the play-in time. They weren't able to make it out of the group, but they gave both those teams a run for their money, and they put everyone on notice. Hey, this is a very talented team. You give them a week or so, they might be able to push it to the next level, and they will be given that chance. They were 3-0 in Group B, the #1 seed. After this, of course, we'll have a little bit of a break. We'll actually interview one of the Esports Tower coaches, Coach Jake, and then we'll have Forsyth Central taking on LaSalle. And right now, Forsyth Central looks like they are primed and ready to win their second championship. But first, it's Bishop Hendricken. It's St. John's Bosco. Can we get the biggest upset we've seen in the Esports Tower? Before we do that, though, we got to get Doc's keys, which are play the shot and rebound, disrupt the pathing of attackers, defend an attack boost, and rotate to the back post quickly. It's presented by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Still a best of 3. We'll see if St. John's Bosco can make some noise, but if Hendricken strikes early, I would not be shocked if we maybe get a 3-game series here. This is a very talented team. It's right off the kickoff, though. Pickle and company are going to have to be on the defensive end. That one gets stolen away. Chance here for Fear Classic to get the first goal, but a huge save by Zondu to keep us in a 0-0 game.
Now, the one thing that I will like to say about St. John's Bosco is that up until last week, we did not see them going for a lot of those demolitions, but when they were going against Forsyth, they took a page out of Forsyth's book and started to demolish the other players as much as they could to allow for that field to get opened up for them. So Hendricken needs to really allay those demos if they start coming out from the side of St. John's Bosco as they try to shut them down more.
Zondu with another fantastic save, but right now Hendricken needs a clear as Rice, not the touch he wanted. Fear Classic gets the first goal, and I think the old adage still applies, Dirty. You cannot play aerial ball against St. John's Bosco.
Yes, unless you are willing to go toe-to-toe in mid-flight with them, I highly suggest you ground that ball as quickly as possible unless everyone is on the opposite side of the field when you launch it into the air.
That ball never left the orange half that entire possession. It does reach the midfield. Rice quite not able to get it. Pickle comes flying in, ends up stealing the ball away from Zondu, who was setting up for it. Turbo's just going to launch it all the way down into the corner. Him and Rice kind of tie up over in that corner. Here comes Sphere Classic. Nice stop there for Pickle, who was the hero of the group stage for Bishop Hendricken. But Slayer, great pass over to Turbo, hits off the crossbar, and thankfully Bishop Hendricken doesn't allow another goal in.
Pickle got a nice save and a clear right there down into the corner. Fear Classic will battle them out to try and get possession. It does end up over by Slayer, but Zondu is there to disrupt that and get that first goal for the side of Bishop Hendricken.
Great job by Zondu with the solo play in the corner. Just steals it away from Slayer and just barely taps it around Fear Classic. Might not even hit the ball. Might have just faked Fear Classic out. And I think Zondu's looking like, we mentioned Pickle, who was great in the group stage. Zondu's looking like the hero for Bishop Hendricken right now so far through the first minute and a half.
As we go into this next kickoff, it does kind of just go high in the middle. Pickle manages to get a touch on it, sending it down over onto the side of St. John's Bosco in the corner. Fear Classic reads it perfectly, though, is trying to take it up the side. We do see Pickle manages to dunk it over their head right there, but unfortunately, Slayer has something to say about that, taking out Zondu.
Rice barely dunks it around Slayer. All three members of St. John's Bosco actually go for that ball, but Turbo's able to get a demo to kind of bail them out. Ball gets recentered for Fear Classic. Pickle can't quite get a nose on it. Turbo kind of pitches it with Slayer as well, but Zondu, there he is, going to try and carry this one. Gets it around Turbo, but the ball's just a bit to the left.
Fear Classic did get a touch on that one, sending it into the corner, and we do see a demolition come out onto Turbo right there, opening it up for a little bit of time for the side of Hendricken to score a goal, and they take advantage of that with Pickle finding the net.
That's just a great steal here from Pickle. He's going to just take that ball away from Fear Classic. Nobody back defensively off of that demo, and it's an easy goal there. And Bishop Hendricken making some noise here, leading 2-1 in the first half of this game.
We don't have enough information, however, for the side of Bishop Hendricken to tell whether or not if they are, a first half team, a last half team, or, very consistent throughout the entire course of the match. So they got to make sure that they don't gas themselves, I am sorry for the pun, throughout the course of this entire 3-map series.
Pickle makes a great save. Zondu's going to get a demo onto Slayer, but the ball's still on that orange side. Fear Classic keeps it alive in the corner, plays it over Rice. Here's Turbo, who's been the hero for St. John's Bosco in recent weeks, misses on it, and Slayer will keep it alive, dunking that one away from Zondu. Great hit there for Pickle. Fear Classic's just going to recenter that one right near midfield. Zondu racing for it, plays it around one, but Turbo's going to stop him in his tracks.
Followed up by a touch from Fear Classic, will clear it down to Turbo in the corner, forcing Pickle to play it off that back wall, and there's another shot on goal with the follow-up from Slayer, and that will find a second goal for the side of St. John's, bringing us to an even score.
And you just see how fast St. John's Bosco can make offensive plays happen. Pickle thought he got a great clear, ends up right in Slayer's lap, and he's just able to bang it home for a 2-2 draw right now. 2 minutes left as well. So we'll see here how these final 2 minutes go as Fear Classic just gets a huge demolition. Both these teams with quite a lot of demos as we see another one come out there. As Turbo's going to get it onto Pickle. Zondu's going to retreat, trying to play it around Slayer, but he ends up taking too long. Slayer puts it right back towards the net. A third hit for Slayer. Ball just, so barely in front of the net. Multiple misses. Finally, Zondu gets it clear. Woo.
And they managed to pop it up over one of the members of St. John's Bosco. It does get hit back at the net. Pickle's there for the clear once again. We've got Rice at the midfield trying to dribble it up. They've got 2 members of St. John's to beat. They're playing it off that back wall. Will they get a nice touch to one of their teammates? They do. It's Pickle, but it's a little too high to the right. Zondu's trying to get possession of it here with Slayer being hot on their wheels. And unfortunately, Slayer manages to find that clear. Landing in front of the goal, Rice manages to get the save.
A great defensive job here in the last minute or so from Hendricken. His Turbo's going to keep it alive. It just barely finds it on net. He has found just incredible angles time and time again.
We've mentioned before that Fear Classic is one of those players that gets those insane angle goals. However, Hendricken also has a couple players that are capable of doing that. With only one goal being the difference here, a minute and 13 seconds, we could see this go into overtime even on the first match.
Fear Classic going to just corral that kickoff, barely get it past Zondu, but Pickle's able to win that one, dunks it over Slayer. Chance here for Rice, just not able to find it. Zondu has to go retreating to make sure another goal doesn't go in. Great demolition there from Pickle to give some breathing room to Hendricken as Slayer just hits it down in the corner, but the ball just going to get cleared away.
Slayer's now going after that ball in the corner. Fear Classic will pop it up over a couple members right there. Rice will elevate as well, managing to maintain possession of the ball. It gets knocked right in front of the goal, but unfortunately does end up getting cleared by Fear Classic.
Oh man, that was so close for Hendrick, and not only on their shot, Slayer nearly hit it in as well. As Pickle's going to try and pass it over to Zondu, who's waiting down in the corner, set it up perfectly. Zondu just didn't have the right angle. 30 seconds left here for Bishop Hendricken to try and send us to overtime. Slayer, though, looking for the go-ahead insurance goal. Forces out a great save from Pickle. Fear Classic sets it up for Slayer. And another huge save for Pickle's going to give him 15 seconds and a chance.
We've got Fear Classic rotating back as Pickle's now taking that ball up the side, pops it up over one member of the side of St. John's Bosco, but Fear Classic manages to get a nice touch on it to clear it down to the side of Bishop Hendricken here. Are they going to be able to find that extra goal, insurance goal here? We are at 0 seconds, and they will not, so the first round goes to St. John's Bosco.
Very, very close match, though, from Hendricken, keeping it just a one-goal game. They even had the lead. It does just feel like I think the aerial play, when it gets involved, is definitely in St. John's Bosco's favor. Even despite the great defensive effort, if Hendricken can just keep the ball out of the air, which is incredibly hard to do, they probably have a chance here in game 2, but this could easily snowball in St. John's Bosco's fashion. If they get rolling offensively, they're able to get those insane aerial plays we're used to them seeing.
Well, Hendricken during that first round for a while had a lot of great saves. They shut down a lot of those offensive pushes coming out from St. John's Bosco, so they just got to make sure they clean up those rotations, and a couple of the double commits that they had happening that disrupted each other on some great clear opportunities just don't happen again. And we could see this get played, all the way out to a 3-game going into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, we've seen in recent weeks, teams are getting closer and closer to beating St. John's Bosco. They only won by 1 goal. We'll see if game 2 goes a different way. Last time, when it was Hendricken's first ever Rumble, they took St. John's Bosco to overtime in one of our group stage games. So this is a very, very talented team that has what it takes to get this to overtime, maybe get it to a game 3. But I would not be shocked if St. John's Bosco maybe comes alive. They've already lost a series to Forsyth. This is, we've had, like we said, Jake from the Esports Tower says he thinks this is the best high school team in the country. If they turn it on, I definitely think they could blow it out. But Hendricken, they have a chance, as you mentioned. That defensive effort from Rice in particular, as well as Pickle, they had some absolutely insane saves. And if Zondu can kind of pull his own buddy and be that offensive carry, they have the recipe to maybe win a game or two, or at least keep it close, go to overtime, and then you never know what's going to happen.
You just can't give up right now. It's only been 1 round, and you still got to treat the score like it's 0-0 going into the second game. Just keep the mental high, keep the adrenaline and the energy high, and you could see this come out, and like I said, be the biggest upset in the last 2 months of Esports Tower.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head there. You got to make sure that you pretend like this is 0-0. You can't play like, oh, we're 1 game away from elimination. Then you start pressing a little bit too hard. Then you make those simple mistakes, and then that's how this game can get out of control. So Bishop Hendricken, we haven't seen much of them, but if they're able to maintain their mental, they're able to be untilted, not worry about the scoreline, they definitely have a chance as we kick off this game. Zondu trying to carry it across midfield. Fear Classic will just dunk it right over him. Turbo puts it on net, but Rice makes another great save. Slayer's going to steal it away. Waterfall in front of the net, but Fear Classic just a bit too slow. Tries for a second shot, not able to find it. Turbo actually going to deke him out, and Slayer bangs it home for the first goal.
We did see a double backup from 2 players to the side of Hendricken. You can see it from Zondu right there and Pickle, both of them trying to stop that ball from going in. But when you try to reverse directions, it slows you down so gosh darn much. It just opened up that opportunity for Slayer to take advantage of that slowdown.
Yeah, we mentioned those double commits. Nobody was in the net as Pickle will win that cleanly. Great job by Zondu to hit it down, trying to make the solo play. Ball in front of the net. There's no follow-up for anyone for Bishop Hendrick, and finally Rice comes into the picture and dunks it away from Fear Classic. That ball bounces over Pickle. Slayer takes another shot. Zondu can't make the save, and St. John's Bosco already got a 2-0 lead.
We're just at about the 50-second mark here in this round, so 2 goals can be easily gained back for the side of Hendricken, but they need to clean up these rotations already that we're seeing. We've had a couple double commits, and we've had some shots taken on goal without follow-up, and you've always got to be ready to back up your teammates.
Another great kickoff win there from the side of Bishop Hendricken is they're going to pass it from corner to corner over to Fear Classic. Zondu and Pickle both commit, but a great save by Fear Classic. Now it's a 2-on-1. Rice has got to make a great save. Pumps it up in the air. And Turbo's just going to take advantage of that.
Rice had already made the rotation to that back post. They had it in their head. They knew they needed to be in the defensive position. Unfortunately, they just didn't get the ball quite high enough to prevent that goal from happening. Sometimes it just ends up being like that.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in a 2-on-1 there. You have to make a miracle play as Zondu off the kickoff, not quite able to win this one. Rice going to try and carry it, just loses the dribble.
We've got Fear Classic who manages to dunk it over one member of the side of Bishop Hendricken, followed up by Slayer trying to play it on the ground. They're going to back pass it, allowing for one of the members of Hendricken to take possession of that ball with a follow-up from Pickle right there, managing to keep it over that center line, trying to maintain the push onto this goal right here, but Turbo will ultimately end up getting that clear across midfield, and Pickle's trying to challenge him out here for that ball.
Pickle trying to challenge Fear Classic now as well, who centers it up for Turbo, who's going to launch it all the way down to the other corner. Rice barely gets a nose on it. Now Pickle's able to clear it away. Him and Rice both challenging Slayer. Rice able to win that one, bump it right in front of the net. It's going to waterfall down, but Fear Classic with a great read just clears it out to the corner.
Turbo's going to follow up that clear down into the corner as Pickle and Rice try to put pressure on them, but Slayer swoops in for that next goal and gets themselves a hat trick.
And we talked a lot about Fear Classic, we talk a lot about Turbo, but Slayer is that third just solid member, and today he has had a great game when Johnny John's Bosco needed it most.
We're at that 3-minute mark right now. St. John's Bosco is looking like they are not losing any sort of momentum. And now we do see that great kickoff with Zondu managing to get it just over into the corner, but it ultimately gets sent all the way back to the side of Hendricken here as Slayer's trying to get a touch on goal. Fear Classic manages to make a shot, but there's a great save there from Zondu.
Turbo with the follow-up. Pickle, though, able to make another great save. Rice going to pass it over to Zondu, passes it over to Pickle on the give and go. Zondu is there, but a great read by Slayer. Just get in that passing lane. He now is going to set it up for a teammate. Turbo tries to take the shot, double commit from him in Fear Classic, and now Rice looking for a clear.
Slayer ends up disrupting that pathing coming out from Rice, managing to keep the ball on the side of Hendricken here as we do see Zondu managing to get one demolition out right there. Fear Classic manages to get the save, however, even though they were down one man, and now the ball's crossing that midfield line right now.
Fear Classic going to dump it back to Slayer, who now carries it in towards the goal. Zondu with a great challenge. Turbo rushing in. Going to force a bad touch, and Fear Classic, the recipient, gets the goal.
We've got a little over 2 minutes remaining in this match, and we have seen both an Esports tower and coming out from the Broncos themselves, multiple goals come out within just a matter of 30 seconds. So there's still a large chance that for the side of Bishop Hendricken to come back and bring out those 5 goals, but they really need to commit to some of these touches that they're making, as well as clean up those rotations.
Yeah, we've seen quite a lot of double commits that have kind of resulted in this 5-0 lead as Slayer steals the ball away from Turbo. Zondu makes a great save. Slayer still in that corner. Going to put it right in front of the net. Ball just bouncing there. Finally, Rice does get a nose on it. Fear Classic hits it back towards that orange goal. Slayer steals it away and just drops it in a spot Pickle can't quite stop.
So I know that the shot on goal right before this one looked like a double commit coming out from the side of St. John's Bosco, but I actually don't think it was at all. It looked like they were trying to tee the ball up in the air off of one of their cars, allowing one of their teammates to come over them and knock it in. It's just unfortunately they miscalculated on those arcs and ended up bumping each other instead.
And I think the other problem here we've seen from Hendricken is, I mean, that was 4 or 5 shots on goal for St. John's Bosco. They've got to work on these clears that we saw in game 1. Is Fear Classic, it does get a great demo. Rice and Slayer just bumping each other around. It's going to allow Turbo to steal that one away. Pickle now with a great opportunity. Sets up Zondu off the back post. Any follow-up? No. And Fear Classic's just going to dribble it down to the orange side.
It does get popped up over Fear Classic, though, by Pickle, as we do see Slayer managing to get a shot on the goal, as well as getting, I believe, the Playmaker achievement right there.
Just a great play. Slayer has had a fantastic game, and probably when St. John's Bosco needed it most. They're kind of sluggish in game 1. They've lost a group stage game. I think Slayer maybe was the guy who, in that 60-second break, was like, come on, guys, we can play better than this, and he has absolutely proven that so far.
We do see the kickoff coming out from Fear Classic right there, landing into the corner as Slayer gets a demolition out onto Zondu right there as well. However, the ball stalls out just a tiny bit, allowing for the respawn to happen as Turbo takes a shot on goal. The follow-up from Fear Classic, finding them that 8th goal.
Yeah, we see why this is probably the best high school team in the country, if not one of the best. They just have so many playmakers. They can all make plays. Turbo and Fear Classic combined for a fantastic goal, and they also just apply so much pressure on these kickoffs.
We did also see a demolition come out right there from St. John's onto one of the members of Bishop, and another one coming out from Slayer right there onto Zondu. Zondu, as we've mentioned, is kind of that offensive force for the side of Hendricken, so shutting them down early is an easy way to open up the goal for the side of St. John's.
Yeah, minute left here. Bishop Hendricken looks like their bracket run will end, but they're at least trying to get one more goal here, and Fear Classic's going to get himself a hat trick, and I'm sure Forsyth Central might have close eyes on this game because it looks like St. John's Bosco has recovered from that beatdown they received, and they're ready to go in this championship.
Or they used the frustration as fuel to up their game here in this match, saying we can't let that happen again, and we will demonstrate how we will not let it happen. Unfortunately, the demonstrating team is Bishop Hendricken in this case.
Yeah, Bishop Hendricken, unfortunately, was just kind of that sacrificial lamb. They had to take the brunt of St. John's Bosco's anger. As Pickle tries to get a goal in to at least break the shutout, not quite able to. Turbo going to pop it up in the air. What a fancy move there, but Pickle reads that one. 30 seconds left. St. John's would probably love a 10th goal. It's just a statement win. They pass it back to Turbo. He rips a shot, but Pickle makes a great save.
Pickle now has to play it around Fear Classic, however, and they kind of do end up doing that, but Fear Classic is still the one with the most possession on that ball, playing it up back against their own backboard as the ball drops down to the ground here at the midfield once again. We do see Zondu elevating, trying to play it over Fear Classic, but Fear Classic reads it perfectly, dunking it down onto the ground.
It looks like time will hit 0 and end that game. So St. John's Bosco will advance and try and go 5-4-5 in Esports Tower Rumble Championships. We will see if it will be Forsyth Central or LaSalle College High who will be there with them. But it was a great effort by Bishop Hendricken in Game 1. I mean, you can throw the Game 2 tape right out the window, but I think this Bishop Hendricken team, you give them a couple more weeks, you give them some scouting, I think they definitely could challenge for that third tier. Well, you know, Nerdy, you can only get so far going at it alone. If you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We've seen that with the Esports Tower, you mentioned it. We've seen teams take a few weeks off. They've kind of shuffled the roster, and most of the time, those Esports Tower teams have immediately responded, making it to the bracket stage. They take time to make sure that they have well-matched teammates. Give a shout out to Coach Jake. If those of you aren't watching, haven't checked out the Esports Tower, you should. It's the fast track to rank up. Speaking of Coach Jake, we'll hear from him in just a little bit and talk about this Esports Tower because I think they've done a really good job mixing and matching teams. It's just the problem is, I don't know if, you know, you made a super team of every team who's ever competed in the Rumble if you could take down St. John's Bosco.
There's just something in the water down there.
There is. I mean, it just, I really do think I would love to see an all-star lineup of the Swerve, Barracuda, to maybe throw in Forsyth Central. Grayson is another school. Florence 1 who we've seen. If you made like the all-star of the all-star lineup, could they beat St. John's Bosco is the question because so far no one has done it. But honestly, a great performance by St. John's Bosco there at our championship game. And before we get to our second semifinal, let's bring in the Esports Tower Rocket League head coach Jake, who will be joining us. I mean, he's got to be very happy. Not only has the Esports Tower been growing and growing, now his alma mater, LaSalle College High, is also in the mix as we see there. Jake, how are you doing today, Jake?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. I mean, let's just start out with what have you seen the most over the last 2 months in the Esports Tower from just the growth of the overall competition, the overall skill level? What have you seen the most over the last 2 months?
Honestly, the growth of the community has been great. Just these guys getting together all with one goal in mind, that's to get better at Rocket League. All of these guys are really talented, really committed, and you know it's a true joy to coach them.
So when you're working with these kids, I'm really curious, how many of them, you don't have to give me an exact number because I totally understand if you do not know that. Is there a group of students here that are, you know, in their senior year of high school looking to go into college and kind of really using Esports Tower as an avenue to get noticed, to get recruited into these college programs that are existing right now for Rocket League?
Right, a handful of them are. I would say 2 of them are in this Rumble. Coming next year, we'll have about 5 that are currently active, and then the following year, 6 more. So as far as guys that are on ET Swerve and Barracudas, these guys are getting older, they're getting better, and some of these guys are pretty young. So the sky's the limit for them.
Well, we've talked a lot about the Esports Tower. Take us through, what does the average person go through if they sign up for the Esports Tower? What does it kind of look like? How do you determine what team they're going to be on? Just kind of give us a quick rundown of if someone were to sign up today, what that would look like.
Sure. So you sign up on our website, esportstower.com/Rocket League. You'll go through the prompt. You put in all of your information. You'll be placed on a team based on your rank, either from Platinum to Diamond to Champ to Grand Champ. There's a place for you here. There's about 14 teams that are currently running through Esports Tower at the moment. So there's plenty of places for anyone to fit in here.
14 teams, that seems like a lot to manage for one person. Do you have an assistant coach?
We have a few coaches here. It's not just me. We actually have a former player from F1S, Spooky, and we have another coach who is fantastic. His name is Jay. He's an old Rocket League player.
I do have to ask you a question, Jake. How do you keep all that hair on your head, not wanting to rip it out when you have to play St. John's Bosco every week?
Oh man, it is a real tough go. And like I said, they truly are the best team in the country. I have not seen a better team at the high school level better than them.
So my next question might get a little bit personal. How do you manage the seeing your own teams that you're currently coaching play against your alma mater of LaSalle?
You know, it's tough love. Philadelphia, it's a city of brotherly love, but you know, I need to challenge these guys. And if LaSalle wants to bring their A game, you know, my guys are going to bring their A1 game. So they're going to have to bring it.
And I'll kind of follow up on that. I mean, for me personally, when I graduated from Boise State, I was never thought we'd have an esports team. What is it like, you know, when either they reached out to you, or maybe you reached out to say, my alma mater is playing in a tournament I'm hosting? Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that your high school would have an esports team?
No. I've seen that computer lab go from absolutely just a basement and to what it is now. It's a Microsoft Series 1 school. It's truly so cool.
Well, Jake, I mean, we'll get you out on this. I mean, what are your goals for the Rumble? I mean, you guys, like you said, you've gotten some of the best high school teams. Probably you could argue St. John's Bosco at Forsyth or 1-2. I mean, what is your goal with this Esports Tower Rumble going forward?
Going forward, to get the best possible high school talent in these Rumbles. You know, first and foremost, you know, the season's still going, so take down John Bosco and Forsyth, and then from then on, we'll see what goes on from there.
Well, Jake, I want to, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you come up with some plan that doesn't involve ripping your hair out to beat those teams, because they're absolutely insane. But you guys do a great job. We talk about it. We've seen Rumble teams. They take a week off, or the Esports Tower teams, and then they come back really strong. I think you guys do a really good job. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That was the Esports Tower head coach, Jake. And, I mean, it's got to be tough, right? Like, we saw at the start, the Barracudas, they were the best team. And then you just get St. John's Bosco. It's just like, how do you beat them? Do you make them play 2-on-3? I feel bad for the man, because it's almost an impossible job.
Impossible, yeah, that's the only word I can really put to that. At St. John's Bosco, as we mentioned, they not only have a fantastic Rocket League team, but they have a fantastic football team as well down there, and a handful of other sports that they just dominate. I think they're just one of those schools that's like, we have to be the best of the best no matter what and everything. And I don't know what type of rigorous training these students go through, or if they just magically have all of these like shining star players in every sport just down there automatically, in which case I think we need to move.
Yeah, share the love. I mean, I will say, the Barracudas, we saw, they took them to overtime. They survived 19 shots on goal against St. John's Bosco. So I think Jake is very close to cracking that code with the Barracudas and the Swerve, are the two things that I think are really, really close. But unfortunately, couldn't quite get it done. But I think they're really, really close. But it's our next semifinal. Jake still got a rooting interest. It's his alma mater, LaSalle College High. Can they knock off Forsyth Central? What would be an almost bigger upset? Find out next.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full time.
While I work full time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Our second semifinal of this week's Esports Tower Rumble is about to get underway. Who will be joining St. John's Bosco in our championship match? Will be Forsyth Central for the third week in a row? Or will LaSalle College High in their first bracket appearance pull off the upset and have a chance at their first championship? I'm still Michael Fisher, joined by Artie Nerdy Bird Rain to call all of the action. And I mean, signs point to Nerdy that's going to be Forsyth Central at St. John's Bosco, but who knows what LaSalle has down in the water. I mean, they obviously have a very talented, they're very, related to talented Rocket League players because they, kind of were the home of Coach Jake for 4 years. So maybe there's something in the water down there, but I'm expecting it to be St. John's Bosco at Forsyth for the third week in a row. They are clearly just that upper echelon. We know St. John's Bosco is one in the nation. I'd love to see an argument for anyone besides Forsyth. It's probably the number 2 high school team in the nation.
I can't disagree with you in that regard, but we have not seen a whole lot of LaSalle just yet, so we can't hedge our bets too much in this regard, nor make any predictions because we don't want to curse ourselves, of course.
Of course.
And we have to at least, let them demonstrate in a full-length game and let us see what they're capable of doing. And honestly, if they're able to avoid getting blown up as much as possible, because as I mentioned before, Ariana has basically shut down people for the equivalency of an entire minute of an entire match. Yep. Which is an insane amount of time in the world of Rocket League. If you can prevent that from happening, it opens up a lot more opportunities for you to get shots on goal.
Yeah, it will be interesting because last week in the Rumble, we saw mainly KG playing, not Ariana. So depending on how much scouting LaSalle's done, they might not be ready for it, but you're totally right. They have to. We mentioned in Doc's Keys the game from time to time, you have to allay those demos for LaSalle College High because that is what Forsyth has kind of turned into their bread and butter for that third player in the group alongside DJ, TJ, and Buddy. If you are just joining us, you're curious how the Esports Tower Rumble works each week. So the best high school teams in the nation join the Esports Tower Elite teams in a standalone bracket. They start with group play, round robin through the groups, and then the top teams advance to the bracket. Everything's a best of 3 until the final. And right now we'll see who is going to be joining St. John's Bosco in that final. Forsyth Central's been there 2 weeks in a row. They're looking to make it 3. They just got to get through LaSalle College High, who in their second appearance in the Rumble is in their first bracket stage. And oh, by the way, Forsyth Central, Nerdy, has now made the bracket stage 10 weeks in a row.
So what you're telling me is that they're really gunning to make it against that championship St. John's Bosco match and hopefully take home that crown for, I want to say their second time?
I believe second.
Their second time finally, and, finally beat out St. John's. I'm sorry, St. John's Bosco. You guys have a massive target on your back, and for the side of LaSalle, if you guys do not end up coming out on top in this match, don't take it personally. Do not take any of the demolitions personally that are going to be happening to you. Know that you are kind of just a blockade in front of Forsyth Central from getting to that double crown that they are desperately wanting to grab.
Yeah, but this is a LaSalle team, as we mentioned, that you do not want to overestimate. Not only did Coach Jake graduate from there, they were 7-0 in the regular season during their state championship. They ended up losing in the quarterfinals, but they said they learned and improved. They knew what they did wrong, and they knew what they needed to work on. So this is a very talented team. Forsyth cannot just cruise past them. They're going to have to give it their all, as Buddy's going to take a great shot on net. just hit off the crossbar. Ariana can't quite find the follow-up, but that's exactly what Forsyth loves to do, is put Buddy in a position to score a goal.
And we do see Ariana getting that demolition out on Knowles as they're trying to get that ball across that midline, opening up an opportunity for DJ to get a great shot on goal with a follow-up from Ariana, finding the first goal in less than 30 seconds.
It's a great overall play. See, Buddy hits the crossbar, DJ TJ hits the crossbar, and Ariana just sneaks it in. Oh, that was a great bump. I did not see that. DJ TJ bumping Wabungus out of the way, and this is a very physical team. As you mentioned, already one demolition on the board. You got to watch out for Ariana.
We see this kickoff, and Buddy reads it, gets a nice pop into the air, but there's not enough. Never mind, as I'm about to say that, DJ TJ dunks the ball right in front of the net. There's a save right there from Wabungus, and it kind of dies out just a tiny bit with a demolition from Wabungus coming out on DJ TJ right there. There is still 2 members of Forsyth alive, so they got to be careful and can't underestimate just 2 people in front of their own goal, as Ariana gets a nice shot. Unfortunately, the follow-up's not enough, and Wabungus gets the save.
Forsyth, they've also had issues with the crossbar in the past. This game is no different as DJ TJ is going to elevate for the ball. Great save there by Jake, able to stop that one. They need a clear, though, as Knowles tries to center it over. Buddy steals that one away. DJ TJ in the corner as well. Wabungus with a nice steal does get bumped back past Ariana, who's just going to hit it right back into the corner.
Ariana's now got to play it past Jake here, but Jake is going to take the ball with Ariana elevating to dunk it down with a follow-up right there from Knowles. Will bring it over to the side of blue. DJ TJ's looking to elevate and take this ball away. They're going to play off the back wall, instead sending it over to Buddy, but there's 2 members of the side of LaSalle who are there, and Wabungus gets first touch on the ball, but Buddy still ends up with it right in front of the net.
Ariana tries to center it up. Great save by Wabungus, though, to push it all the way down to the other corner. DJ TJ plays it around him off the wall. We see Jake flying in at the last moment. Ends up hitting his own teammate out of the way, unfortunately. Does stop that ball from being cleared down into the corner, though, and Jake now looking to clear. It looks like DJ TJ may have disrupted that one a little bit. Ariana, great pass over to DJ TJ. Pass to Buddy, but a nice steal.
It still is over here on the side of LaSalle. They're trying to pop it up over Ariana. They managed to do just that, but DJ comes rushing in to corral the ball down here in the corner. Ariana now takes it up the side with the help from DJ, who's going to clear it over to Buddy at the mid. It's going to be played off that back wall just above the net. The follow from Ariana will be just a little bit too far to the left, and now it's over the goal.
Jake looks to corral it in the corner, not quite able to as DJ TJ challenges him. Buddy trying to fake out one, gets it around Knowles. Wabungus can't quite clear it over him as well. And finally, Knowles does get a hit on it. Ariana comes charging in. Haven't seen as many demos since that first one, though. And might need to do that to kind of open things up as Buddy tries to take a shot, gets redirected, but it's a little high and above the net.
We do see Ariana come charging in here at that corner with a follow-up from DJ TJ connecting that second goal. So you mentioned we aren't seeing as many demolitions happening, but the one thing I am seeing coming out from Forsyth Central right now is they are boost starving the heck out of LaSalle. During this last entire push on the side of LaSalle, they had very low boost in their tanks. It was just constantly being stolen away by Forsyth Central, so maybe there wasn't the need for those demos because they weren't moving nearly as fast as compared to Forsyth.
Wabungus trying to get a clear, but this side control has been suffocating, as you mentioned. There's a double demo from Ariana. That's what we were looking for. DJ TJ puts it on the net. Buddy pops it up in the air. Great save by Knowles off the respawn. But those demolitions opened up a huge hole.
The clear right there ended up in front of DJ TJ, who's going to pop it up over Wabungus here into the corner, but right in front of the goal. Unfortunately, we'll just barely miss it, and with the disruption coming out onto DJ TJ right there, he'll lose possession of that ball. Ariana's trying to make a save play here and drop it right in front of the goal. Buddy is there. They get a nice touch. There's a little bit of a double commit, however, and it does end up in front of DJ TJ at the side of Forsyth Central's goal.
It's a minute and a half left. It's still a very winnable game for LaSalle here as Buddy trying to get that insurance goal. Great save by Wabungus. DJ TJ, who has 7 shots, comes charging in. He does get demolition, though. Ariana trying to set it up, ends up playing it to themselves. Jake with a very risky hit there. Buddy not able to get the clear around Wabungus. So we have a minute left, and Forsyth still looking for that third goal.
DJ gets a nice shot on goal, but Knowles manages to find that save. Ariana's going to elevate and play it off the wall right there. That Buddy will play it over to Ariana in the midfield right there. And then the follow-up at the mid from one of the LaSalle players manages to keep it on the side of Forsyth Central over here, as we do see Buddy trying to slow down a little bit to maintain possession of the ball, sending it over to DJ.
TJ trying to pass it over to Ariana. Does just that. Now Ariana's able to hit it over into the corner, looking to center it over to Buddy, who's charging in, but a great challenge by Knowles is going to clear that one away. Buddy trying to get a touch on it. Nice bump out of the way onto a Bungus. Pass to DJ. TJ, huge save by Knowles. Ariana, no follow-up as Jake makes a great save.
The ball is still over here on the side of LaSalle in the corner. We do see DJ and Buddy both trying to get possession. Buddy pops it high into the air. Jake will try to corral it down on the ground. Ariana pops it up over Jake with a double commit, and Mobungus finding that save. DJ's not giving up, committing the ball over here into the mid with a follow from Ariana that's going to be knocked away by Jake once again, but it still manages to roll into the goal.
But the number of save medals for the side of LaSalle is absolutely insane. We do see Ariana finally crack that defense, but this LaSalle team, I have never seen, I think there's 11 saves on the board. That's absolutely insane. I have never seen that many saves for a team. As I think as soon as this kickoff happens, and we'll have about 7 seconds left, and Forsyth will win, but LaSalle's got a pretty spectacular defense. I will give them that.
When I was playing soccer as a kid, I was always told, you can make your defense your greatest offensive ability as well. So it's just a matter of cracking the code of how to get those nice clears from those saves to allow someone on their team to be that force to score those goals.
Yeah, we do see the number of shots, though, taken by the side of Forsyth Central. 18 shots on goal. Absolutely insane. And I think this is going to be really interesting. We saw in our first semifinal, the first game, St. John's Bosco kind of struggled with Hendricken, almost lost, then absolutely came out and blitzed them. I think beat them 10-0. Now how does Forsyth respond? I think they feel like they probably could have got 5 or 6 goals. If they come out and put up a big number, I think they'll be ready for St. John's Bosco. If LaSalle maybe holds them to 3 or 4, I'm kind of worried that Forsyth might have used up all their good luck in that group stage upset and might be in for just an absolute blitzing in the finals.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We do still have, a full 3, possibly a full 3-game series here. I'm hoping for a full 3-game because that means both teams are trying their absolute hardest, and it was a very evenly matched match. As we go into this next one, in that first round, we saw Ariana get a double demolition right in front of the goal, but no goal was scored off of it. In fact, LaSalle actually manages to respawn and get a nice clear crossing that midfield mark, and so if they continue to do the notorious demolitions right in front of the goal, they have to actually use that to their advantage and not, as I hate to put it this way, but whiff the shot on goal and make sure they're communicating with each other that, Ariana's going in to just blow some people up.
Yeah, I'll be curious. Because we saw that one demolition early, we saw that double demolition, and then things kind of quieted down. And I'd be curious if Ariana wants to get back on that demolition streak or not. I know earlier in the cast you had mentioned that Forsyth had been in their state championship, and you were curious how they'd done. I've been told they ended up being defeated in the semifinals of that state championship. Would love to know who knocked them off, because they are absolutely they would have to be a very talented team. And now, Nerdy, it's your turn for a shout-out from Buddy as the first goal gets scored.
Nerdy can be third wheel. Oh, okay, I see. So Buddy's asking us both out on a date, but I'm the one who gets to sit in the corner awkwardly on my phone on social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I'll say yes to that.
Yeah, we just got to wait for next February. At least he asked me to be his Valentine. I don't know. He's an absolutely incredible player, though. But I will say, last week after, he asked me to be his Valentine, his play kind of suffered. Maybe he was trying a bit too hard. So hopefully him trying to impress you doesn't hurt as Ariana gets an aerial demolition onto a Bungus. And that's what I want to see as TJ tries to set it up. But another great save by this LaSalle defense.
We do see that Buddy managed to get a nice centering pass over to DJ here, but with a double commit coming out from LaSalle, they managed to get it over onto the side of Forsyth, but they have slowed down their assault as Ariana is now taking the ball up the side wall. A little bit of a pop there coming up from DJ, forcing Noel to go up the side. Jake elevates but misses the ball as Buddy gets a nice centering touch onto the goal, but it is cleared away by Wabungus.
Jake gonna pop that one up in the air. Knowles with a great steal away. Doesn't have a teammate though, so Buddy will just clear it over to himself in the corner. He's now in a one-on-one with Jake. Oh man! You just feel for Jake. That was an insane, that was 5D chess from Buddy. He played him perfectly.
Let him think that he was going to get full possession, but Buddy said, no, I'm going to use you to redirect the ball to give me an advantage.
Absolutely insane play for Buddy, who now has both goals on the game, or absolutely wins that kickoff as well. Jake, though, great pass over to Knowles. Pop it up in the air. Knowles now going to clear it down into the corner where Buddy is waiting, and it feels like he is all over the map.
We have Wabungus get a nice shot on goal, but they were booped around a little bit there, so it does end up going wide to the left. Jake tries to get it corralled down, but it ends up with Wabungus, who's got 2 members of Foresight trying to take this ball away. Ariana manages to pop it away from them. Buddy's looking to get the clearing shot here, as we do see Knowles passing it right in front of Buddy. It gets disrupted, but Buddy knocks it in front of Jake, and now it's up to Ariana to take it past that mid with a pass back coming out from Jake right there. Unfortunately, Ariana will demo Jake, and now Buddy's going to take it up to the goal, and Jake's just barely going to miss that touch to clear it to the left.
It did force Buddy to make the shot wide, however. I think he maybe thought he had DJ TJ there. Ariana spikes it in front of the net, but it can't quite hit it off the crossbar once again. Buddy's going to corral it in the corner, play it to himself, but Wabungus with a great read. DJ TJ coming in, and looks like they should be clear as Ariana gets a shot, but ends up hitting it in the wrong direction.
We've got Buddy backtracking to help out Ariana, popping it high in front of their own net. There's a shot from Wabungus right there going right into the crossbar, unfortunately, as Buddy gets a demolition out on Knowles as they tried to disrupt Buddy, but Buddy was just going too fast.
Never seen that. And he also kept possession of the dribble as DJ TJ pops it in front of the net. Here comes Buddy. That's a hat trick. And Forsyth Central's got a 3-0 lead.
So, for the last couple of weeks, I've kept track of the demolition stats, and they have held true thus far consistently. And right now, Forsyth Central has 6 demolitions, while LaSalle only has 2.
We've never seen a team go demo for demo with Forsyth besides St. John's Bosco.
How do you stop that?
You don't. I mean, Knowles plays it perfectly. There's no way you can predict that. Wabungus is getting booed. I mean, Buddy is just... He's ready. Like I said, I challenged Forsyth to be ready for the finals if they won, and that's exactly what he did, was be ready for the finals to play like that.
And DJ gets a fantastic touch off that kickoff. Knowles reads it perfectly, however, and gets it cleared all the way to the side past the midfield mark. Ariana's there on the ground, however, and knocks it in front of LaSalle's goal. It does get booped a little bit too far to the left as Buddy's trying to steal the ball away from it. Looks like Jake down there in the corner. Ariana's going to be the one to get the clear, however, at the mid.
Knowles reads it perfectly, hits it back into the corner. DJ TJ, though, has been pretty quiet in this second game. Does dunk it around. Knowles tries to center it for maybe himself, but a great save there by Jake. Ariana comes charging in, going to ground the ball. Look for one more touch, can't quite find it. Nice play there from DJ TJ. Going to pass it over to Buddy. Oh, just wide of the net.
Ariana's there for the follow-up, however, managing to corral the ball down into the corner, preventing that clear. DJ's there for the follow-up as well. Jake's trying to come in and steal the ball away. Wabungus ultimately does just that. Buddy plays it off the wall over to DJ. It's right in front of the goal, and Ariana finds the connection into the goal.
And that is, I mean, you've talked about the soccer play. That is the perfect play for the corner. You got one guy charging in. If he can't get it, you've got somebody on that back post, Dox Keys, who's just there for the absolute finisher there from Ariana. And Forsyth now with that 5-0 lead, they to me now look ready for their what should be championship appearance unless something crazy happens in our next minute and a half.
I honestly do not feel as though any team it will be able to score 5 goals. At least right now, 6 goals now with that. The assist coming out from DJ with the follow-up from Buddy to find that goal. All 3 members are doing a great job from the side of Forsyth of facilitating each other and allowing these goals to happen. We've mentioned before that Buddy is kind of like the goal-scoring powerhouse, where Ariana is kind of the setup powerhouse, and then the assist is always coming out from DJ TJ. For the side of LaSalle, however, they've got the opportunity to make great defensive saves. They just need to make sure they clean up those rotations. This is a best of 3. They can bring it back still. They have the opportunity. As Jake is unfortunately stalling out here because they are being boost starved like it is the world's longest famine.
DJ TJ finally gets a goal in. Yeah, I think this LaSalle team reminds me a lot of the Boise State Orange team from we saw, I think, fall semester, where defensively they were really hard to crack. They just didn't have the best offense to match that. I think if this LaSalle team, they kind of maybe take some VOD review, find some time to figure out offensively how they could challenge them as Wabungus with a great kickoff there. This LaSalle team feels like, to me, is probably 2 or 3 weeks away from being one of that upper echelon teams. They just need to figure out the offense, because defensively, the scoreline aside, this game could easily be like 15-0 as we see a double demolition and a goal from Ariana.
That's what I'm talking about, taking advantage of those demolitions. We did see DJ get this one right in front of the goal. And then Ariana, DJ gets a second one back-to-back. So they're both gunning for that demolitions expert medal right there. An 8-0 score, 48 seconds left in this round. I do not foresee that gap being closed too much, but LaSalle does have the opportunity to prevent the shutout from happening. Buddy will elevate, however, and take that opportunity away right there, leaving Ariana to battle it out for the ball here with the follow-up from DJ taking up that back wall as Ariana rotates back, and Buddy comes swooping in for that. Is that Buddy's second hat trick?
Yes, that is Buddy's second hat trick of this game. 6 goals for him. And you have to wonder, we saw St. John's Bosco put up 10 against Bishop Hendricken. Maybe Forsyth wants to put up 10 to kind of say, hey, anything you can do, we can do as well. And again, we talked about it. You know, LaSalle's a very talented team. Like I said, I think they're a few weeks away from competing for a championship. As Wabungus gets a goal, which is fantastic. They were just unfortunately the speed bump in the way of Forsyth's ultimate revenge.
As we mentioned, you can't take any of it personally, but you can use the records of this match to do fantastic VOD review and just realize when you've created opportunities to make that offensive push if you are not comfortable being, you know, a constant aggressor like Forsyth and St. John's Bosco are. You can always play defensively and then rotate and turn it into an offensive opportunity. As we do see the ball get popped high right there, it does end up in front of Buddy. Ariana boops a member out of the goal, allowing Buddy to find that goal with an assist from DJ right there. That is some high strategic gameplay, I feel like, coming out from Ariana. Not even needing the demolition, just disrupting players.
Yeah, just a fantastic goal there from Buddy to make it 10-1 here in our semifinals. So Forsyth Central, I mean, there's no 9-point shot in Rocket League, unfortunately, for the side of LaSalle. So it will be our 3rd straight week of St. John's Bosco and Forsyth Central. And now Buddy is potentially flirting with the triple hat trick game if he can score one more in the next 7 seconds.
Kickoff goal, or that's about all I can think of, unless we see some insane aerial control play to allow for a goal to be scored in more than 7 seconds.
He is the one taking the kickoff, but unfortunately it's Wabungus who hits a great one there. DJ TJ does win it cleanly. He's going to clear it down in the corner. Potentially one chance. You see Buddy, he's waiting near that midfield to try and steal that ball away from Jake, who carries it, and unfortunately no one can get there, so no triple hat trick for Buddy, but still an overall impressive performance. Forsyth Central will be your winner, and they will set up what will be the 3rd shot at St. John's Bosco.
St. John's Bosco, Forsyth Central, yet again in our championship match. Will we see the upset of the last 2 months, or will it be once again St. John's Bosco taking home that crown? I can't make any bets yet.
Forsyth's the only team to ever beat him. They beat him twice in the group stage, haven't been able to beat him in the championship. Well, do you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers? Then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights. With our featured Rumbles, recruiters are starting to take notice too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or to land a collegiate scholarship. It's time for what, you know, death taxes. St. John's Bosco and Forsyth Central in the finals of the Esports Tower Rumble. It almost feels guaranteed at this point. These teams are absolutely incredibly talented. Forsyth Central's been getting closer and closer. Is this finally the week? They absolutely slammed them in the group stage, Nerdy, but unfortunately, what you do in the group stage doesn't matter. It's what you do in the finals, and St. John's Bosco has time and time again come alive in the finals and absolutely just sucked the life out of Forsyth Central.
I mean, last week we saw St. John's Bosco kind of get a run for their money even in the group stage, and then they still brought it back during the actual bracket stage of the entire course of the tournament and showed that was like, hey, we were just trying to not completely gas ourselves in those first games, but still play it to our best of our abilities without being completely exhausted, which is totally understandable. However, when you get down to that championship match, getting gassed early on is, you know, kind of expected because of how much pressure you're kind of putting on yourself and that your teammates and possibly your coaches are putting on you to try and, you know, play the best that you possibly can. So my only advice to both these teams is take a deep breath, play the best that you can, and if you are St. John's Bosco, don't get blown up.
Yeah, or if you're Forsyth Central, because we talked about it. Ariana's the demolition specialist, and then they absolutely got demoed on repeat. I will say, last week, St. John's Bosco won 3-1, but when they subbed out KG, they put in Ariana. This felt like a different Forsyth Central team. They ended up stealing a game. Can they win the series, though? That is the question. St. John's Bosco wants to go 5-4-5 in Esports Tower Rumble appearances and championships. Meanwhile, Forsyth Central, they're looking to tie the Barracudas and will be our 3rd 2-time champion. Who gets it done? The finals are next.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
The news says Gen Z is struggling. I've got news for them.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital.
I put out a forest fire.
I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives.
And led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full time.
While I work full time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Welcome back into the Esports Tower Rumble. We are on to our championship match, broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Fans Esports Arena, and it's a feeling of deja vu. For the third week in a row, it's Forsyth Central and St. John's Bosco squaring up against each other in our championship match. Last 2 weeks have gone the way of St. John's Bosco has every Rumble. They've been in 4 appearances, 4 championships. Meanwhile, Forsyth Central, they've made the bracket stage now 10 weeks in a row. They've only won 1 championship. They're looking to change that here tonight and pull off what would probably be one of our biggest upsets in the bracket stage. Like I said, they beat St. John's Bosco twice in the group stage, but they've never been able to get it done in the championship, Nerdy, and that is, I'm sure, they would gladly trade losing in the bracket stage for beating them in the championship game, I'm sure, any day of the week.
Well, both these teams, during the course of our bracket portion of this tournament, demonstrated their prowess. St. John's Bosco, as we mentioned, kind of needed to demonstrate that they're still fully capable of scoring a lot of goals and being on a different mental game plane than anybody else during their follow-up match against Hendricken. And then, Forsyth Central was like, okay, you put on 10 goals, we'll put on 10 goals. And they, in fact, put on 11 because they had to have that 10-goal lead over the side of LaSalle because, they did get 1 goal in. So it wasn't a complete shutout. However, both these teams putting on double digits on the scoreboard is not an easy feat at all.
No, I mean, we even saw in our group stage game, Forsyth put on 10 goals on St. John's Bosco as well. So they definitely said, hey, we are here to play. And you're totally right. They both made it out of the group stage. That first game in the semifinals for both those teams was a little bit iffy. St. John's Bosco was a lot closer against Hendricken. But, Forsyth only got 3 goals against LaSalle. And then they kind of came out. They said, you know what? We're still the best of the best. We're absolutely going to run through you. 10-goal wins apiece for both of them. And now we get our championship. It will be a best of 5. And we will see if Forsyth Central can finally come away with the win over St. John's Bosco, or if the Braves are just that good. They have never lost a bracket stage game. Looking to go 10-0 all time. Well, before we get to the matchup, we do have Doc's keys. Play the shot and rebound, disrupt the pathing of attackers, defend and attack that boost, and rotate to the back post quickly. It's presented by the Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. It's this week's championship. It's for the 3rd time in a row. St. John's Bosco and Forsyth Central. Who's going to win? We'll find out here momentarily as we get ready to kick things off.
We do see for the side of Forsyth, we've got Ariana, DJ, TJ, and Buddy all together, so that driving force wombo combo of all 3 of them are set up as Ariana gets a shot on goal. It will be saved by Slayer, and it will be reshot by DJ, TJ, forcing Fear Classic to rotate a little bit more. Turbo's in the air trying to find that first goal, but it's read perfectly by Ariana on the ground, and it's dunked over Slayer right there, right into the goal, and that is going to be the first goal for Forsyth Central.
It's a huge mistake there by St. John's Bosco. Nobody back. Slayer tried to challenge it. Great play by Ariana, known as the demolition expert, but that goal is huge. And now we'll see what Forsyth can do on this following kickoff. This is where St. John's Bosco has made a ton of pressure. These kickoffs, Slayer wins it cleanly. Great response by DJ TJ, though. Fear Classic going to try and play it back. Buddy's going to now bump it over him. Ariana in the corner can't quite beat Turbo to it. Turbo's going to get a clear.
Turbo's now going to try and battle it out past Buddy. DJ will elevate to try and prevent the ball from going in the goal. It does go wide to the left, allowing Buddy to take it up the side here. They are being pushed around a lot by the members of St. John's, and ultimately Slayer will manage to get that shot on goal.
He's just going to catch a Buddy, unfortunately going the wrong way. Can't correct it time. Great play by Slayer, and we just see why these teams are both so talented. They can score at any moment from anywhere on the field.
It's completely unpredictable.
I haven't seen something that looks like a pass that immediately goes in the goal, and I have to be like, okay, wait, how did they score that? And you see, there's the first demolition, but it's Buddy, not Ariana, who pulls it off onto Turbo. DJ TJ able to clear it down. Buddy gonna hit it into the corner, looking for a second hit, centers it up perfectly for Ariana, who just misses on what was a free goal.
Fear Classic did get a slight redirect on that ball, so that might have contributed to it, as we do see Turbo take out Buddy. So for the side of St. John's, they managed to slow down just a tiny bit as Ariana takes out Fear Classic in response, and Turbo ultimately finds that second goal for St. John's.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I think this might be a case of, unfortunately, that demolition just doesn't put you in a great overall spot. You got to be careful when you go for demos that you don't get out of rotation, because nobody was back on net. And just like that, St. John's Bosco, they're back in the lead. See if Forsyth can win this kickoff. Ooh, great opportunity. Oh, here, Ariana, what for Slayer? Great Olay on that demo.
We have Turbo now elevated to get a touch on that ball. Buddy reads it perfectly, is now trying to battle it out for that ball. And with a little bit of help from Ariana, Fear Classic shot's going to get shot away from the ball. Well, away from the goal is Fear Classic's forced to Slayer and Fear Classic are forced to rotate back. And Buddy finds that second goal for St. John's Bosco for the side of Forsyth Central.
Great play by Ariana here. Sets it up perfectly. Slayer with the assist, and Buddy puts it home right below that crossbar. And I mean, we could almost see a 5-game series with every game going to overtime. These teams feel that close.
And just as the kickoff starts, Ariana manages to find that demolition out onto Fear Classic. However, the ball's still over here on the side of Forsyth Central. Buddy's trying to dribble it past a couple members of Forsyth. They do manage to pop it up over one. Ariana gets a demo on the second one, and they get a shot on goal, but Fear Classic will find the save.
I think DJ, TJ, and Buddy ran into each other. They both saw an open net. Their eyes got wide. Ariana with another huge demolition. Absolutely destroying the side of St. John's Bosco, but ball's still on that blue side. Slayer going to take a shot. It gets pinched off him and DJ, TJ. Now racing back to the net. Fear Classic and Turbo both have an angle. Buddy's going to put some pressure on DJ, TJ, but Slayer makes a great play.
The ball's now at that midfield. Slayer's trying to rotate back. Fear Classic's pushing forward, gets a shot, but it goes wide to the right. Ariana's now trying to clear it past that midfield mark as Slayer elevates with them. Buddy gets a nice shot on goal and finds that third goal for Forsyth Central.
Not only has Ariana been the demolition master, they have been the assist master. A perfect pass with another assist from Slayer to Buddy. Nobody could get it. And now with 2.5 minutes left, Forsyth Central has the lead once again.
We've seen plenty of goals get scored in that amount of time. However, as we see double stall-outs at the midfield off that kickoff, but ultimately Buddy's going to be the one to get a nice shot on goal. Turbo will elevate and manage to save it from going in with some help from Fear Classic. It'll be shot all the way over towards the blue side. As we see Ariana take out Slayer right there, possibly opening up an opportunity for the side of Forsyth to clear this ball away. It's played off that back wall. Forsyth's there for the follow-up, but Ariana reads it perfectly, managing to prevent that goal from going in.
Great setup play there from St. John's Bosco. Still has all the pressure as well, as Slayer's going to keep it away. Buddy's going to have to retreat, but a nice challenge there by Slayer. Turbo's going to even throw DJ TJ around, but Ariana finds the clear, plays it around Fear Classic and Slayer, but Turbos should be able to recreate this ball, able to turn around, get on it. Now has a pass over to Fear Classic, just loses it on the ceiling.
It does still end up with Fear Classic. However, Slayer does not get the pass that they intended as DJ runs in and manages to disrupt that one. Turbo's now trying to get this ball, but Fear Classic beats them to it, taking it down to the corner. And now they've got to battle out Buddy, who pops it over them, but Turbo still passes it back to the corner.
Oh, what a shot from Turbo. Perfect on the back post. And I will say, Ariana's got to be careful because Turbo perfectly olayed the demo. Got him in a bad spot. I mean, that's just an impossible shot to save. And that's what Turbo and I think Fear Classic do incredibly well, is they just take shots at impossible angles. And I thought that was a pass, and it ends up going in the back of the net.
maybe half the time it really is a pass. That kickoff from Ariana, though, does end up with Turbo once again, as Turbo almost gets a shot in the goal, but DJ's there for the save. It's still in the air. We do see Fear Classic elevate to try and get a shot in, but it's disrupted just enough as Slayer manages to save the ball from going in off of Ariana's shot. Now Fear Classic's trying to take it up the side and beat out DJ as Ariana gets a double demolition and gets the demolition expert medal right there. But now they have to turn that into an actual opportunity for themselves as they take it past the mid, but Buddy just barely misses that ball.
Oh, great pass by Turbo. Slayer charging in, open net.
Oof.
And then Buddy just couldn't quite get there in time. Great play here. You see, looks like DJ TJ the only man back defensively, and just a rotational breakdown for the side of Forsyth Central.
One goal to even it out is not something that's impossible to do, especially with 55 seconds still remaining on the clock. For the side of Forsyth, they just have to make sure that their rotations are good and they have someone ready for that defense. And you can't always just rely on one person for it, but we do see Turbo trying to take the ball into the goal with a follow from Slayer. Both of them will miss, allowing Buddy now to take this ball up the side into the air. DJ TJ tries to help them out. Unfortunately, just barely misses it. Ariana's now going to try and corral this ball down over to Buddy, but now everyone's back over here by the orange goal. DJ TJ at the mid's going to prevent that clear. However, Fear Classic will read it perfectly, and now we've got Slayer elevated to try to pop it over Buddy with a follow from Ariana, managing to get it back over to the side of St. John's.
Turbo's going to pop it up in the air. They get a demolition onto DJ TJ, so Buddy will have to go retreating. Does corral it with 15 seconds on the clock, gets it around a pair of members. Ariana's going to try and set it up, but Turbo with a fantastic read, clears it out towards midfield. DJ TJ keeps it alive from the side of Forsyth Central. 5 seconds left. Ariana tries to pass it over to DJ TJ. The ball's just wide of the net. Buddy, one last chance. His shot goes wide, and St. John's Bosco with the 4-3 win in game number 1.
One goal differential is great to see, even if it is the early game, so to speak, here for both these teams. This is a best-of-5 series after all, so even if St. John's pulls out and manages to get that next win, we could always see Forsyth Central turn it around and just do a reverse sweep. However, that was so evenly matched, I feel like either team is still in the running to win the next round.
Yeah, and it felt like just a tale of two halves. I felt like Forsyth was the best team in that first half. They had a ton of pressure, but we saw why St. John's Bosco was probably the best team. We even heard from Coach Jake, probably the best team in the country at the high school level. They immediately flipped the script. There was so much side control for St. John's Bosco in that second half, and they just have everyone is capable of scoring. Turbo Fear Classic get a lot of the attention, but Slayer is that solid third member who can put a shot in whenever he's needed. And I think I will say, Forsyth's got to be kicking themselves. Buddy and DJ TJ had a wide open goal. They both went in on it and ended up just absolutely stopping the ball. And I think that's the one thing where even when a goal's wide open, you got to keep those comms open. And I think that if that happens, if that goal goes in, it's probably a different game. So one little mistake is all it takes in a game between two skilled teams.
Hopefully they clear up those communications, just that tiny little bit that they need, and do prevent those double commits from happening. However, St. John's Bosco is running into that same issue. We've seen double commits come out from each other, whether or not they were meant to be tee-ups or not. They do ram into each other and prevent goal-scoring opportunities for themselves as well. So both sides have things to clean up. Nobody's perfect, so that means anybody still has the opportunity to come out on top here.
Yeah, I've heard from the Boise State Rocket League players, when you have teams that are evenly matched like this, the biggest difference really is whoever makes the least amount of mistakes in games like this. And that's going to ring true in game number 2. Is Turbo over in that corner. Buddy trying to get it around, loses the dribble. Fear Classic trying to set up Slayer on the shot. Great challenge, though, by Ariana. Still needs it clear, and that's what DJ TJ will find, as Ariana can't quite get it past Slayer, who's now racing down in the corner with Buddy hot on his heels.
Buddy manages to get it away from Slayer, but Turbo's now trying to boop around multiple members of Forsyth Central. Ariana's going to boop them away from the ball, allowing DJ to get a nice clear over to an open goal, but Slayer will be there just in time to make the save.
DJ TJ still has possession of the ball, challenged by Turbo. Bat touch there! Buddy's going to make him pay. Slayer couldn't find the clear, and I think that all starts with Ariana bumping Turbo out of the way that allowed that big clear.
Yeah, Ariana's proven they don't need to go for demolition, to just throw people around enough to make it so they can't move enough to get in position for the save or the receive of a pass from someone else, and it is enough. You don't always have to blow someone up, Ariana.
Slayer going to center that one off the kickoff. Buddy gets bumped out of the way, so DJ TJ has to be in a good spot. Ariana charging in, makes a great defensive play. Turbo keeps it alive, and Ariana will dunk it over them. Fear Classic loses a bit of control, and DJ TJ should be able to hit this one down in the corner and give Forsyth some breathing room.
Fear Classic reads that one perfectly, but sends it straight over to Buddy, who gets a nice shot on goal, but it's just a little bit too high, allowing Turbo to get the save. Now it's an open net. Thankfully, DJ comes rushing in to send it back towards the midfield. It's still over here on the side of Forsyth Central, however, so they need to get this cleared away. They cannot let this stay over here for too long. It's too much side control for one team. Oh, it is one of those things that can spell your doom, as it's still over here on the side of Forsyth Central.
Buddy's going to clear it all the way down to that orange side. Turbo with a great pinch off the wall, trying to have a teammate set it up for him, but he'll play it himself. Shots high, looking for the rebound, not able to find it. Buddy does just enough to challenge the incoming shot from St. John's Bosco, and now wants to make a play. Great steal, though, by Fear Classic.
We've got Buddy and Ariana both rotating back towards the goal. DJ will miss that first touch, but thankfully the ball goes just a little bit wide, but a pinch off right there will allow Turbo to find that equalizing goal.
It's unfortunate. Nice hit there by Slayer. That actually might have bumped TJ out of the way, and then Turbo with just a great shot placement, upper corner. Nobody could stop that. Soccer, Rocket League, I don't care. That's a perfect shot. And we have ourselves a tie game once again.
3 minutes and 10 seconds, 0-0 score. It's anybody's game once again, as we do see Ariana's going to take it up the side over here. Fear Classic's going to stop that, however, and try to play it around Buddy. Buddy does get a touch on his Ariana, finds that demolition out onto Slayer. The shot is on the net, but DJ gets to clear up to the midfield.
Ariana steals that ball away from Fear Classic. Off the wall, Buddy and Ariana both going to elevate for it. Ariana now racing down, one member to beat. It's Turbo, ball right in front of the net. Fear Classic barely does enough to stop Buddy's shot, and he gets a demolition to boot. That should allow Turbo to clear it down, as TJ is just going to clear it and allow Buddy to respawn.
That ball does end up, however, with Buddy here still on the blue side, though. DJ's going to try and take it up past Fear Classic and Slayer. We now have Ariana with the ball on the side, on the far right, trying to find a pass, looking like they're going to send it over to Buddy. It goes right in front of the goal, but it's a little bit too low for Buddy to hit it. And now Turbo's taking it up the mid, back towards the blue goal, with DJ trying to disrupt them. Ariana as well. The shot is not perfect, and no one has to save it, thankfully, and Buddy gets to clear to the mid.
Couple of missed opportunities from both sides there. Sphere Classic now corrals it in the corner. He's got Turbo down, tries to pass it over to him, ends up just taking a great shot. Buddy and Turbo both miss. TJ not able to find it. Slayer off the top crossbar. Fear Classic with the follow-up. And it's a 2-1 St. John's Bosco lead.
I'm not going to lie, Fish. I'm seeing a lot more shots coming out from both these teams that we normally would see go in that just aren't finding the right angle or position to find that connecting pass. I don't know what's happening here. Maybe both teams have just gotten on each other's mental too much.
Yeah, you're right. There were some very easy opportunities that we've seen missed with Ariana. A perfect knock out of the way. You don't need demos, you just need bumps. And that is a great one here as Ariana just clears Slayer into the next universe.
Yeah, Ariana, that was beautifully done. I cannot argue that, yes, you are a demolitions expert, but you've definitely shown some control and patience with doing that, especially in this game, and have just opened up opportunities for your teammates. Well done.
Turbo with excellent control. Ariana gets the mid-air demolition off the back post. Buddy tries to take a shot. Fear Classic with a fantastic save. Now he's going to try and make a play himself. Ariana with a nice stop. Turbo racing in, ends up getting tied up with Buddy there right in front of the net. They hear it back, but Slayer not going to have the right angle. And Buddy will be able to clear it away, but a great chance here for Fear Classic on the side of St. John's Bosco. One more shot here from Slayer. Perfect demolition. Oh, just a bad touch by Slayer.
That demolition only lasts a couple of seconds. Buddy is already back, and therefore the save to send it almost all the way to the midfield. However, Slayer does end up with the ball once again. DJ manages to steal it away from them. It does get centered up, however. Ariana's there for another clear, and now Buddy's going to try and take it up the midfield. They've got just Fear Classic and Slayer to beat at the net. It is going to go swooping to the left side, however, and now they have to recenter that shot.
Oh, there's the demolition onto Ariana. Fear Classic in a 2-on-2 as he had Turbo trying for a pass. TJ reads that. Slayer, though, great bump away from Buddy. Goes racing in. Can't find the demo onto Ariana. Fear Classic now going to try and air dribble it. Forces TJ out of the net. But Buddy's right there as Slayer tries to pass it across. And now Buddy's looking for a clear.
Buddy takes it up the side, but Turbo reads it perfectly, managing to take it away from them as DJ gets the save from that shot on goal. follow-up was attempted by Slayer, but Buddy beat them to it, allowing DJ to now take this up the side with Ariana now trying to get a centering shot for them. Buddy's in the mid, but it gets cleared away, and Turbo's there. Buddy gets a nice save with that fast rotation back towards their own goal. And we have 1 second remaining. If this ball doesn't touch the ground, we may see a golden goal happen right now, but it might end, and we are in overtime already.
I think Slayer was going to score that if there was any extra time on the clock, but we'll go to overtime. Bad news for Forsyth. St. John's Bosco has dominated the last minute and a half of gameplay. They need to find a clear and a shot. Ariana does the first part. DJ TJ gets it around Fear Classic. Buddy's looking to make a play here, but Turbo's just going to clear it away. DJ TJ pops it back up. Now they're going to wait to see what Fear Classic wants to do.
We've got Ariana coming in to try and take the ball away from Fear Classic, but they end up sending it over to Slayer, who's now going to take it down to the corner on the side of blue as DJ gets his demo out onto Turbo. Buddy's going to play it over one member of St. John's, and they've got 2 to beat. However, the disruption from Turbo was sent it back towards the blue goal. The shot's going to be a little bit high, but the follow-up also going to hit that crossbar with Buddy knocking it over towards the left side.
Forsyth of that crossbar rears their head at probably the worst time as Fear Classic sets up Turbo. Great play there. DJ TJ just kills the rebound opportunity. Slayer puts a shot on net. DJ TJ with the clear. Fear Classic just a bit high. Does Turbo have the magic? No, he does not. Slayer, one last chance. Ariana's the only one who can make the save, and they do just enough.
We've got Buddy elevating, taking the ball past the mid. It's however going to drop right in front of Turbo, so now they've got to manage to try and snag that ball away, but Slayer is going to try and get a clearing shot. Buddy will disrupt it, sending it back towards the corner. Ariana, unfortunately, will elevate and miss the ball, send it as it goes back down towards the blue side. DJ's going to try and beat out Fear Classic over here with a shot on goal from Turbo, but it's not going to find the goal as it gets disrupted by Buddy. Buddy now has to play it around Turbo, and they've got to beat it past Fear Classic over here on the side of St. John's as Ariana finds the demolition out on Fear Classic, but their net is wide open. Can DJ manage to keep the save alive? It doesn't go in. It plays off that back wall, and Ariana's there for the follow-up.
Can't get it around Fear Classic. Buddy going to hit it off the wall, try and center it up. Can't find it, and he will go retreating. Ariana ends up barely touching that one. Demolition out on the DJ TJ, but Buddy comes down. Slayer keeps it alive. Turbo charging in! Oh no! And Turbo hits it in. Slayer, I thought, was going to score, and just a really dominant overtime performance by St. John's Bosco. Felt like they were in control for probably most of it. He stole that one. That one was going in.
Yeah.
Turbo stole that one from Slayer, but they don't care. They put themselves on match point, and that's just how hard St. John's Bosco is to beat. Forsyth thought they probably had it, but like I said, the last minute of regulation and most of that overtime period, it was just prayer after prayer being stopped by the side of Forsyth Central.
Honestly, Forsyth got lucky more than once with that crossbar, saving them a couple of times. Honestly, they were doing it earlier today. I didn't mention it because I wasn't quite positive, but they were doing a fantastic job, at least Forsyth was, of boost starving the other team when they are on the offensive, and they need to bring back that strategy to prevent those wide clears that St. John's Bosco is managing to get on the side of Forsyth. And I feel like if they manage to do that correctly and just clean up those double commits once again, they might be able to bring this back.
Yeah, that feels like just the one small difference between these two teams. I think they're very even, but when Forsyth gets a possession, it's 1 or 2 shots, then a big clear comes out from St. John's Bosco with that boost starting, like you mentioned. When St. John's Bosco gets possession, it is 2-3 minutes of just pure side control, where, like you said, the crossbar had to bail them out. I will say the crossbar did save the side of St. John's Bosco. DJ TJ had a wide open shot in overtime. These teams are very close. You could just see those small, minor things that I think made St. John's Bosco just a little bit better. But as you said, it's a best of 5 now. There's a chance for a reverse sweep. Either of these first 2 games could have gone the way of Forsyth Central. They've both been 1-goal games. That's how close they are. They just need those little mistakes to be able to be changed, those trajectories on the ball if they don't hit the crossbar. They're right there. They just need to be able to do 1 or 2 things a little bit better.
We're now going into match 3. Unfortunately for the side of Forsyth, they are at match point. They need to win this game in order to bring us to a map 4. So now it is the time to set each other up and just constantly keep those communications and rotations clear. As we see Ariana and Buddy managing to get great ball possession here. It's played off that back wall. However, it does get knocked away by Fear Classic over to Turbo and DJ. And DJ finds that ball before Fear Classic and Turbo can, allowing Slayer now to take it up the side as Ariana tries to elevate, but Turbo gets a touch on that ball first.
Fear Classic shot will just bounce over in the corner. Ariana going to try and clear it. Demo will go out onto Buddy now, and he will respawn as Fear Classic takes a shot. Buddy can't respawn in time, though, and St. John's Bosco strikes first in Game 3.
only one goal. It's okay. It could still be evened out. It's still anybody's game. I have to keep saying that for not only myself, but all the players involved in this tournament right now.
Forsyth, they've scored first in the first 2 games. Didn't go their way. We'll see if they can maybe make that happen to St. John's Bosco's Ariana with a clean win on the kickoff. Fear Classic does end up stopping it, now clears it down, gets it around DJ TJ. But he can't quite make the save, and Fear Classic with an excellent solo play for a second goal of this game.
I need to see the replay of this one because I didn't even know where Fear Classic was fully coming in from on this. Oh, yes. Okay, so but DJ tried to get that touch. Unfortunately, just did not get high enough. And at that point, there's almost no stopping that high of a shot from dropping into the goal.
Yeah, this is a fantastic solo play there by Fear Classic to give St. John's Bosco their biggest lead of the night in this final series. As Fear Classic tries to pass it over to Slayer, Buddy's able to steal it away. Ariana can't quite get it around Turbo, and Buddy will corral it. Fear Classic with a great challenge there. Now going to play it off the wall as DJ TJ will challenge him. Buddy barely gets a nose on it to make it so Turbo can't get a shot on net, and Ariana looks for a clear, and Fear Classic has himself a hat trick.
We still have 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this round. Unfortunately, I feel like Ariana needs to shift their aggression towards Fear Classic right now because they have just got themselves a hat trick in the first 3 goals. So maybe that is the person Ariana needs to focus their aggression and attention on.
Oh, they absolutely slam Slayer out of the way. Opens up DJ TJ for a free goal. And I mean, that's what we talked about. You don't need the demo. Sometimes you just need those bumps out of the way. You see Slayer getting carried away, and DJ TJ, great shot to barely beat Turbo. I mean, it's still only 1 goal, though, and that's the worry I have is I think St. John's Bosco could put up 2 or 3 more, so Forsyth Central has got to stay defensively intact as Ariana is going to try and play that one off the wall. Turbo just rips a shot from midfield, nearly hits it in. Rebound stopped by DJ TJ, though.
Ariana finds Slayer and manages to take them out, so they aren't able to be there for that follow-up off that rebound, allowing Buddy to now crowd this ball here on the side. They've got 2 players on the side of St. John's to beat. They still need to clear it past the midfield. DJ's going to go on the back wall to try and clear it. Ariana will ultimately get that clearing shot, but it ends up right in front of Slayer, who pops it high into the air with a follow-up from Turbo, and I think they might have disrupted each other a little bit because now DJ manages to get possession, taking it into the corner, trying to corral the ball down. Slayer will elevate and miss that ball. Fear Classic 2 will try and grab it, but the knock from Ariana will pitch it high into the air, and a nice dunk over one of the players of St. John's from Ariana will keep the push alive. However, now the clear has come out, and Fear Classic gets a shot on goal with a save coming out from Buddy.
That great passing there from St. John's Bosco. Fear Classic trying to keep it alive. Ariana will steal it off the hood of their car, pass it over to DJ TJ, who barely dodges Turbo, who is flying in. Slayer reads that pass back to Ariana perfectly, though. Buddy, though, rattles it around. Can't quite find it, though, and it gets cleared back.
DJ reads that clear perfectly, sends it to the mid where Ariana can play it off the wall back to DJ, but 2 players of St. John's are there. DJ gets the demolition out onto Fear Classic, but Turbo gets to clear over into the corner. DJ's still there for the follow-up, however, sending it right back to the side of St. John's. And Buddy as well will follow it back up, taking it down into the corner.
Great play there by Turbo, beating 2 members of Forsyth Central before Ariana stops that. Fear Classic takes another shot high above the net. Buddy reads that one perfectly in the corner, going to carry it all the way down. Just has to beat Turbo. Takes a shot, it's a bit high, looking to play his own rebound. DJ TJ can't recenter it. Turbo going to miss on it. Slayer now plays it around Ariana. Second effort there, able to barely get a nose on the ball. And now Slayer takes his shot, and a great read by DJ TJ to stop Fear Classic's shot.
We now have Buddy taking that clear up the side wall with a follow-up from DJ at the mid. However, Fear Classic's going to end up knocking it back into the center field area. But Ariana's there for the follow-up as Slayer manages to get the save on that ball. Now Buddy's just trying to corral the ball away from those members of St. John's Bosco as Turbo elevates in the mid, but Ariana snags the ball away.
Fear Classic going to take a shot. Buddy is there. It'll make a very easy stop. Slayer now looking for the follow-up. Going to play it off that back wall. Nobody in rotation, though, as Turbo's retreating. Buddy's shot goes wide of the net. Turbo right there. Buddy will stop him in midair, but the ball still carries onto that blue side.
We have DJ now trying to knock the ball away. Fear Classic reads it perfectly. He gets it off the wall and manages to find that 4th goal. We've got 59 seconds remaining. It's not unheard of for teams to score 3 goals in that amount of time, but if the side of Forsyth is looking for those goals, honestly, they need to score them off the kickoffs almost immediately, like at least one of them right now.
Yeah, just a fantastic game 3 from Fear Classic. All 4 goals for his team. DJ TJ has a chance off the kickoff, but Slayer will tie it up there, and Ariana now can't find a clear. Slayer putting a ton of pressure on that back line. Ball finally does get cleared down. Buddy tries to juke out Slayer, not able to find it. Ariana's going to take a shot. Fear Classic makes a great save. DJ TJ tries, and Fear Classic stops it again. Finally, Buddy puts it in. And Forsyth Central only needs 2 in the last 38 seconds.
Maybe the secret for Forsyth getting that goal is having all 3 members take a shot, because that is what it took, and it made all 3 members of St. John's have to commit onto someone. So there wasn't 2 people waiting in the goal for the save.
And they'll have to, great kickoff for Ariana, read by Fear Classic though. Buddy trying to elevate just enough to redirect that ball over to his teammate, and now Turbo takes a shot. DJ TJ able to read it off the backboard. 30 seconds left. Probably got to score in the next 10 or so if you want a chance to tie this one up for Forsyth Central. Right now, all the pressure on their side. Turbo going to put it right in front of the net. Buddy looking for a clear. Trying to get it around Slayer, and he'll pinch it off the wall to send it down to the corner in a great demolition.
I don't know if that demolition will be enough. However, that player has responded now. DJ tries to get a shot on goal, but Turbo barely beats them to that ball. And it's now over on the side of Forsyth Central yet again with just 1 second remaining. That ball's just got to hit the ground, and the round is over. Ariana's trying to keep it alive with some help from Buddy. The ball's still alive. DJ keeps it up in the air. Buddy does as well. Now it's just a matter of getting it all the way across the length of the field without that ball hitting the ground. That's not an easy feat, as all members of both teams are trying to keep this game alive.
Oh, DJ TJ's gonna get it in. Unfortunately, they were down 2 goals, not just 1.
I do believe that that does give us an extra 5 seconds at the start for the kickoff here. So if they can do that again, oh, never mind, I was wrong.
No, unfortunately, St. John's Bosco will win. No 5 seconds added for Forsyth Central, but still, I mean, despite the 3-0, all 3 games decided by just 1 goal. And you got to feel like that's the best Forsyth Central has played against St. John's Bosco. But again, who can beat this St. John's Bosco team? We saw Forsyth beat him in the group stage. St. John's Bosco came back and eked out a couple of wins. Absolutely fantastic job there by the side of St. John's Bosco for the Esports Tower teams. The Barracudas and Swerve came really close, and I know Coach Jake is going to love reviewing that, and I think with some help with this extra week, I think the Barracudas might be able to challenge St. John's Bosco if they get put in the same group again, because their group stage game was incredibly close. VOD reviews are a great way to improve your game and learn as a team, and if you haven't checked out the club, go check them out, esportstower.com. But once again, St. John's Bosco is absolutely unstoppable. Have to be the #1 high school team in the country because they have found a way to eke out win after win. But I know you look at those games, besides Game 3, which I thought was a great job by Fear Classic, basically taking over that game. Game 1 and 2 were winnable for Forsyth Central. Those games could have gone either way. And if maybe one goes aside of Forsyth Central, it's a different series. But again, huge props to St. John's Bosco. Every time they face adversity, they come out and just absolutely slam that door shut of the question of, can anyone beat them? And the answer appears to still be no.
You know, the time is coming. Their day of reckoning has to happen eventually.
Maybe.
Like, there's no way they can bring home another title next week. And if they do, I may have to take a page out of Wyoming coach's book and break a clipboard or something while I'm here, because that is just insane. However, for the side of Forsyth, we definitely saw them up their game yet again in comparison to last week. The Barracudas also upped their game. Hendricken once again demonstrated their prowess in this series as well, only making their second appearance at Esports Tower. So it's not like this is going to be an easy another victory next week for the side of St. John's. There are multiple teams now that have targets put on the back of St. John's Bosco. So good luck to all of you, because probably you're going to get demoed a lot next week.
Yeah, like I said, every team's getting closer and closer as we do get our ICCU player of the game. It will go over to Buddy, who is absolutely fantastic for Forsyth Central. And when he's scoring goals, this team is winning games. A huge congratulations to him. And like I said, this Forsyth team feels really, really close. But it's just, St. John's Bosco is just a different animal, unfortunately. And despite Buddy's efforts, despite the efforts of Ariana, who got that demolitions medal, and DJ TJ, they just couldn't quite get it done. But that is such a small gap between those two teams. But still, congratulations to Buddy on our ICCU player of the game.
Just awesome side control, great shots. And, you know, we've mentioned before, buddy, you're typically the playmaker for your team, and allowing your teammates to help you set up those goal-scoring opportunities is huge. And you've definitely demonstrated your ability to let them do that for you over the course of the past couple of weeks. And in doing so, you facilitated such great gameplay for your team. So hats off to you, buddy.
And player of the game brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Buddy is this week's Idaho Central Credit Union player of the week. And you're totally right. It feels like, yes, he scores all the goals, but usually it's an assist from DJ TJ. It's an assist from Ariana, who I thought played their best game in that finals. They kind of got away from the demos. They got them when they needed them, but I thought overall their play was much improved. And I think Forsyth, I know, could challenge the side of St. John's Bosco. As we mentioned, the Barracuda, probably you're very close. I think the Swerve are very close. We know what the Esports Tower does, and I think Hendricken, depending on what they do in this next week, could be there as well. But once again, you can't beat them. 5-4-5. St. John's Bosco has never lost in the bracket stage. 10-0 all time. They've only dropped 2 games in the group stage. But they don't care about the group stage. They care about those championships. And their trophy case is very, very full. We will close out tonight, though, with the top 5 plays from our Esports Tower Rumble, presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. That Army National Guard is the best team out there. I'm saying, though, St. John's Bosco, give them a run for their money. That is for sure. Go check them out, though, at iGuard Gaming on Twitch. Here are the top 5 plays. Once again, a huge congratulations, St. John's Bosco, as they're this week's winner. Championship, it will be a best of 5, and we will see if Forsyth Central can finally come away with the win over St. John's Bosco, or if
Do see a demolition come out onto Turbo right there, opening it up for a little bit of time for the side of Hendricken to score a goal, and they take advantage of that with Pickle finding the net.
It's a great steal here from Pickle. He's going to just take that ball away from Fear Classic. Nobody back defensively off of that demo, and it's an easy goal there. And Bishop Hendricken making some blue side.
We have DJ now trying to knock the ball away. Fear Classic reads it perfectly. He gets it off the wall and manages to find that 4th goal. We've got 59 seconds remaining. Not unheard of for teams to score 3 goals in that amount of time, but if the side of Forsyth is looking for those goals, honestly, they need to score them off the kickoffs almost immediately. 3 goals, so maybe that is the person Ariana needs to focus their aggression and attention on.
Oh, they absolutely slammed Slayer out of the way. Opens up DJ TJ for a free
Beautiful
goal. And I mean, that's what we talked about. You don't need the demo. Sometimes you just need those bumps out of the way. You see Slayer getting carried away, and DJ TJ, great shot to barely beat Turbo.
6 demolitions while LaSalle only has 2.
We've never seen a team go demo for demo with Forsyth besides St. John's Bosco.
How do you stop that?
You don't. I mean, Knowles plays it perfectly. There's no way you can predict that. Wabungus is getting booed. I mean, Buddy is just
corner, and now they've got a battle out. Buddy who pops it over them, but Turbo still passes it back to the corner.
Oh, what a shot from Turbo. Perfect on the back post. And I will say, Ariana's got to be careful because Turbo perfectly allayed the demo. Got him in a bad spot. I mean, that's just an impossible shot to save. And